Her mother, Beverly Bowman, are suing Jenna's ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old construction worker John Benningfield Jr., for vandalizing her car and for injuries she received when he tried to kill himself.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 213 on the calendar, the matter of Bowman versus Benningfield.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
You're Miss Bowman.
I'm Miss Bowman, her mother.
Okay, but you weren't there.
No, I was not there at the time.
Why don't
Thank
you
you.
Miss Bowman, the defendant is your former boyfriend.
Right.
Who's going to take his hands out of his pockets as we speak. Very good. And according to your complaint, after you broke up with him, two things happened. You claimed that he trashed your car, causing substantial damage, and also in a scuffle over a knife, he caused you to cut yourself. And you want him to pay your medical bills. When did you break up with him, and where did this happen?
At his home on June 27th.
How long had you been going out with him?
Since February.
Did you tell him in person that you were breaking up with him?
Yes, ma'am.
At what time of the day or evening did you tell him?
7.
You broke up with him on the 27th.
Right.
At about 7 o'clock in the evening?
Right.
And then I assume you left.
Right.
Was there any discussion at that time?
No, his sister and I both left after I broke up with him.
What did you say to him, and what did he say to you?
We had gotten in an argument, and I was just like, it's over. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Let's just break up.
Did he say anything?
No, a normal breakup.
I don't remember.
Not like...
And then you left.
Right.
Did you subsequently come back to the house?
Yeah, later on that evening.
What time?
Yes. It was probably around 3 o'clock in the morning.
And who did you come back with?
His sister.
And what happened when you came back at 3 o'clock in the morning?
We went to sleep, and nothing happened. We woke...
Who went to sleep?
Sarah and I.
Where?
In Sarah's room.
Okay. So you went to sleep at 3 o'clock. What happened when you got up?
We woke up.
What time?
Maybe around 11. We were going to the hospital to visit his mom in the hospital, Sarah's mom also. Then we went to the hospital, came back around 4:30, and when I got back, I looked at my car and I noticed that it had been really bad kicked. And
Where had you parked your car?
In their driveway.
Now, when you left at 11 o'clock in the morning to go to visit his mother in the hospital with your friend Sarah,
right.
Did you see your car?
No, I had not paid any attention to it whatsoever.
When was the last time you had actually looked at your car?
And no damage had been done to it?
Yeah.
The day before, on the 27th.
What time?
8.
8 at night?
Right. When Sarah and I had left, there was nothing wrong with my car.
Do you have a photograph of your car after the damage? That was from a movie, right? You loved that movie, right? What movie was that?
Got to think about that one.
Oh, I know what it was. I know. No. I know what it was. I know what it was. Runaway Bride. It was Runaway Bride.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, that's a ladies' movie. Did you see the movie?
No, ma'am.
But you know what I mean when I say look in my eyes.
Yeah.
Try yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So someone did a real number on your car.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you went into the house?
And called my mom, told her what had happened.
And that's why your mom is here, because the car is really your mom's.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And called the police. She told me to call the police. He was telling me, don't call them, it's not that big of a deal. And I called the police.
Well, did you ask him what happened to the car?
I said, what happened? I don't know.
And he said, I don't know.
Here. Right.
And then you said you were going to call the police?
Right.
And what did he say when you said you were going to call the police?
Don't call the police, it's not that big of a deal.
And what did you say to him?
I said, my mom says I have to. So I went ahead and called the police, made a report, and when I had called the police, the officer came to his house, and the officer came, I made a police report. He said, did he do it? The police officer asked me if he did it and thought I was protecting him, but I didn't have any idea. You know, I thought in my mind that he did do it, but there was no, I saw you do it. So that.
Right. So what happened next?
Well, after the police officer had came, he wanted to talk to me. I was really upset. I was crying. I was really upset. And I was like, no, 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 no. You know, Sarah and I were getting ready. We're going to get dressed, and then we were going to go out that night. And we were arguing, and I don't know how it all started, but he pushed me. Sarah got up. Sarah and him started fighting, and then I got in the fight because I didn't want Sarah or either one of them to get hurt, and we were all just started a big fight, and then he started grabbing knives and was like, I'm gonna...
You're lying.
Go ahead. He started grabbing knives saying he was gonna kill himself first. He held it to his stomach, then he said to his wrist and everything else. All the meanwhile, Sarah and his 9-year-old cousin are both there, and after that, he had grabbed a steak knife. And he was like, I'm going to kill myself. We were standing over by the refrigerator. Sarah and his cousin were in the living room by the phone getting ready to call the police. And when he went like this, I put my hand like this, and that's how I got stabbed.
So you were trying to
Prevent right.
him from hurting himself?
Exactly.
Okay. Did your cut require stitches?
Yes.
How many?
2. But it is 2.5 centimeters deep. My palm is numb. Half my thumb is numb. I'm still going to hand specialist to see.
Miss Bowman, I just have a couple of questions for you. You break up with this guy. He has a sister who's clearly a friend of yours. Don't you think it's a good idea that after you break up with him, you don't go back to his house and contemplate going out with his sister and hanging out with his sister so that he's aware of all these things?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
His sister was my best friend. We had been...
So what? So let his sister come to your house.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
It's just not smart.
Right.
You know, it sort of says to him, trash to you.
Right.
You know, I'm going out with my friends. I'm going to go have a good time, and I don't care if you're heartbroken, and I don't care if you're miserable, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just not smart.
Right.
Not thinking. You know, you didn't think.
Right.
Anything?
I tried to keep the relationship between us after the incident kind of steady, so...
You can't keep it steady. It was just 24 hours old.
I'm talking about after.
I'm talking about at the time of this incident. The breakup was 24 hours old, and you're gallivanting around town, hanging out and doing whatever you want to do with his sister and coming home 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm not being judgmental about that.
Right.
I'm just saying to you, don't do it in front of him.
Right.
Because it made him mad.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jenna Bowman says ex-boyfriend John Benningfield Jr. kicked her car in a fit of jealous rage. Jenna also claims she was cut with a knife when John tried to kill himself.
Let us start with incident number 2. Let's hear your version of the knife incident.
Okay, well, see, yeah, we was arguing, you know, and...
What were you arguing about?
Yeah, I really can't remember. But we was arguing and stuff, and I was like, well, I'm just going to leave. You know, I'm just going to get out of here. And she was like, well, why don't you go kill yourself? Or why don't you go kill yourself? Or something like that in that
Excuse
area.
me?
In that area. And I was like, well, do you want me to? Because I was just so mad, you know, so frustrated.
What were you mad about?
Just because we broke up, you know. And I did like her, you know, kind of a lot. We went out for, what, 6 months? And, you know, I mean, that's the pretty longest relationship I've ever been in. And,
So you were really mad?
yeah. And I was just like, okay, and I mean, I didn't have it up like this. I had it right here across my, you know, right here. And then my sister tried to stop me, and I was trying to protect the knife so she wouldn't get cut, you know. And then I don't know what happened. Next thing I know, she runs over here, and she gets cut. And then as soon as I see she's cut, I threw the knife in the sink and then helped her, you know, tended to her. Like, I got to town, you know, and started, I told Sarah and them to call 911 because I didn't know, you know, how bad it was. And then, yeah, the police came and...
Well, that was the second time the police had come.
Yeah, yeah.
Police came twice. The first time they came
For
about the car.
Car, yes, ma'am. And they took me. They gave me. They was going to take me to jail, but they
Take you to jail for what?
for assault with a deadly weapon. Because I guess she was going to press charges against me, but they ended up didn't, and then took me to rehab.
Well, she
with
really assaulted herself with the deadly weapon that you were holding.
Yeah. Right. That's why they took me to rehab to the hospital instead of taking me to jail.
Well, there's a difference between rehab and a hospital.
It's in the hospital. It's rehab in a hospital.
What kind of rehab?
It's
It's a...
I was trying to think. I don't know. It's just they got a bunch of for drugs and for people that are. I guess.
Well, for drugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Who were you hanging out with that evening?
Josh Cato, my friend. See, the 27th when her car was we supposedly did it. We was in Gap Hollow in, where is that?
Elizabeth, Indiana.
Elizabeth, Indiana. And we didn't leave there until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And when we left there, we went back to his house. And when we got up at his house about noon, I come back to the house, and she was like, "What did you do to my car? Why did you do this to my car?" And I'm
Well,
like,
at the time she left the evening before with your sister, you weren't in Gap Hollow. You weren't there. You were home because she said, "I'm leaving and I don't want to talk about it
when
anymore."
they
You
left,
were home.
Right. When they left, we pulled out of the driveway because he parked his truck in our second driveway, and she was parked with my sister and my cousin, and they was going to the hospital.
Who do you think kicked her car?
I have no idea, because his truck said 2 weeks before we moved into that house, somebody took a baseball bat and keyed his truck.
Why would you tell her not to call the police?
I don't remember saying not to call the police.
Yeah, you did. Why would you say don't call the police? It's no big deal.
I have no idea.
Mr. Benningfield, you have no idea.
Right.
I have an idea. Let me see the estimates on the car and let me see the medical bills.
These are the hospital bills.
Give her the estimate, too.
And this is the estimate for my car.
Don't you have insurance on this car, Miss Bowman?
If she hit someone, we only have, because
Liability.
I'm a single parent, I can't afford the.
That's a lot of kicking damage on that car, sir. Need really heavy boots to do a kicking job on a car like that. Miss Bowman, what caused you to break up with the defendant?
Because he was controlling and he was mean, and every time I went out with his sister, I get yelled at when I came back.
How old are you?
16.
How old are you?
19.
Did he ever use any drugs in front of you?
Well, okay.
Answer the question. The
Okay.
answer is yes or no.
Yes.
What kind?
Xanaxes. Can I tell you something? He was taking Xanaxes the day that this
What is
happened.
Xanax?
Xanax is a,
Depressant drug.
right, for,
People that get panic attacks.
right.
How long have you been taking medication?
Like, just pretty much the time we was going out.
Is that by a doctor's prescription?
No, ma'am.
What?
Yeah.
You take that on your own?
Yeah.
Where do you get it from?
Just my friends, people I know.
These people that you know, I assume with medical licenses, know how much to prescribe for you?
They wasn't prescribed. She's making me look like the bad person. She took them herself. She's done everything that I did, she's done.
Mr. Benningfield, the problem is that you caused some damage.
I didn't do that.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh yeah, you did. There's no question in my mind that you did. And there's also no question in my mind, but for the fact that you had taken this knife and were using this knife in a way suggesting that you were going to harm yourself, she wouldn't have gotten stabbed. Now, whether that was a result of taking, try to pay attention. You're 19 years old. Trust me, you don't know everything. You think you know everything. Maybe you think he knows everything. You think you know everything? But for the fact that you probably are operating only on partial cylinders because of this medication that you're taking, sir, you reacted to her breaking up with you in a way that was off balance. Now, am I saying to you that she did the right thing by going out with your sister and still having a relationship with you? The answer is no. I think she acted like an immature 16-year-old. And your chronological age is 18, right?
Right.
Translated, probably about 9. And that's what 9-year-olds do when they don't get what they want. They hit, they scratch, they mark up somebody's walls, they do a whole bunch of things.
She had the police involved. She went and she was going to press charges against me. And I had to go up to Sellersburg Police Department to give them a statement. They said they couldn't do nothing. She supposedly gave them all kind of, witnesses that I supposedly admitted it to them. But them same witnesses, when the cop asked them, did he tell you this? They was like, no.
I don't care what they said, sir. I'm telling you, you trashed her car. You want to know how I know you trashed her car? Because I can see it. I can see what happened when she left and how angry you were. How angry you were even the next day because you said that's why you grabbed the knife, because you were so angry, because you really liked her. And here she was telling you, I'm breaking up with you and I'm going to hang out at bars, friends, whatever, with your sister. And I'm leaving, bye, and she leaves you there all by yourself with your medication and your friend. Grow up. Listen, you both got to grow up. I give you some latitude because you're only 16. You're 19 and no genius. but you're going to pay for the damage. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested, which well exceeds damage to the car and your medical bills, $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think it was a great decision.
It's crap that she can see these things.
2 girls told me he kicked my car and that he had a new girlfriend, but I wasn't worried about the new girlfriend. It was just a coincidence.
We was trying to work everything out when all this was going on, and then I just got tired of waiting, and I started with this other girl that I know.
Finally now, she knows, we all know the truth.
And then she found that out, and then this one, all this, she started suing me just to try getting money, because she's for money.
Don't date psychos.
Lauren Bunnell is suing 51-year-old attorney Joanne Thompson for an assault at a dog park. Joanne is countersuing for attorney's fees, claiming Lauren filed false police charges.
Order. All rise.
Now, this is case number 287 on the calendar in the matter of Bunnell versus Thompson. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated.
Mr. Bunnell, you are an animal control officer, is that
Yes, I
correct?
am.
The thrust of your complaint is that while performing your duties as an animal control officer, you were assaulted by the defendant, and in addition, she made a complaint against you, which was without merit to your superiors. You want to be compensated. Ms. Thompson says that she never assaulted you. As a matter of fact, she was arrested,
Yes, Your Honor.
and she is counterclaiming for the attorney's fees that she incurred on that trial. She says she paid the attorney $5,000. The case was ultimately dismissed. When did this incident occur that involved the assault? Where were you?
I was at a park,
What date?
April 12th.
And what were you doing at the park?
We had a pending call for that park for people with their dogs off leash.
Dogs supposed to be leashed in the park at all times?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Go ahead.
So as I drove up, I immediately saw 10 to 15 people and dogs everywhere. They noticed me. They all scattered. And as I'm parking my vehicle, everybody's putting their leashes on, running around. So I get out of my truck and I'm walking across the street, and the defendant was having trouble getting her larger dog on a leash.
Why was she having trouble? Could you see why she was having difficulty?
The dog would come to her and she'd be like, come on. And then the dog would run away and back and forth. But by the time I entered the side gate of the park, she was leashed up and walking.
I believe the defendant says that she had 2 dogs with her that day.
She did. She was carrying a smaller one, and there was a larger dog that was on a leash.
Okay.
As I entered the park, I called out to the defendant, who ignored me. She kept on walking, and I walked a little faster following the defendant, and all the time I'm saying, lady in the blue shirt, please stop. I'm animal control officer. I need to issue a citation for a violation I witnessed. She just kept ignoring me. So I walked to her side. As we're both walking, I see that her dog on the ground was wearing a license, and from that license I could get a number off there to get information, because I felt she was fleeing the park. So as I bent down, I'm still walking, trying to steady the tag on the dog, and that's when the defendant struck me, and I fell sideways, stumbling off to my side.
Where did she strike you?
She struck me on my right side. As I was bent over, I felt it here. So I'm imagining she used her whole body. I'm a big guy. It's going to take a lot to push me. It was definitely a forceful shove, because I couldn't believe it. And I said, ma'am. And she kept walking. She kept walking away from me.
Had she said anything to you?
When she struck me, she did say, "You're not taking my dog."
And then kept walking.
She kept walking out of the park. So I'm following her, and I can't believe it. And I looked over my shoulder, and part of the group that she was socializing with when I first drove up, they were yelling at me. One of them said, "Get a real job," and used obscenity. As I followed her to her car, she opened up the back. The big dog jumped in. She slammed the door. She walked around to the driver's side. She got in, and I said, "You're going to be getting a citation in the mail." I didn't know what to say. She said, "All right, that's fine." So she drove off from that point.
And I assume you got her license plate number.
I did.
And reported it.
Immediately.
Okay. Ms. Thompson, I'm ready to hear your version of these events.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is a park by my house. It's not within a block. It's within several blocks. I have pictures of it. It's actually a fenced-in schoolyard.
Okay.
Would you like to see the pictures?
No.
I Took my dogs there. I have 2 dogs. One was an old pug. She's epileptic and she can hardly walk. She wasn't on a leash. My other dog is a lab mix. He was on a leash. We were coming in the park. There was a group of probably 30 people, perhaps 30 leashed and unleashed dogs. And as we approached the group, my pug was walking, the other dog was on a leash, somebody yelled, "Animal control." And everybody started scattering. I picked up my pug and headed out the back gate. Another woman was coming in through the gate. She had 2 dogs that she'd lost control of, so I helped her get the dogs. Mr. Bunnell came running up and was demanding our ID. I told him my ID was in my car. I kept walking. He was running back and forth between the 2 of us. And when we got to the exit, first he grabbed the back of my sweatshirt. Then he bent down and had his hand on the leash of my dog as if he was going to take the dog. And I just pulled the dog back and said, "You're not taking my dog." He followed me to my car, wrote down my license plate number, and said, "You'll be getting a citation in the mail."
Then what happened?
I went home. About 10 minutes later, the police were pounding on my door. Not knocking, they were pounding. He was out there with them. I told them that I would sign a citation if that's what they wanted, but I didn't answer the door. I was subsequently charged with battery, and the case was dismissed.
Did you go to trial?
No, but I have all my court documents.
I'd like to see the documents that you have.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see the certificate of disposition on the case. Are these all the documents on the case?
Yes, Your Honor, there were approximately 6 hearings.
You pled nolo contendere to this.
No, I pled no contest to an infraction of dog off a leash.
Whatever it is, you pled on this case.
There were 2 counts.
There were many court appearances in this
Yes.
case. You appeared for none of those except the last one.
My attorney appeared on each and every one.
Just
Okay.
answer my question. You are an attorney by profession?
Yes, Your Honor.
I got that from the papers, so we understand each other. You appeared at none of those 6 hearings except for the last one. Is that right?
My attorney appeared for me. Yes.
You appeared for none of those proceedings.
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the last occasion, defendant waives notice in a reading of the complaint, withdraws previously entered plea, and pleads as follows. Pled no contest to a lesser charge having something to do with the dog leash?
That was count 2. Count 2, and I did have my pug off a leash.
Well, just a second. If you had your pug off a leash, then the plaintiff was within his rights to issue you a citation.
Absolutely.
So why didn't you stop when he told you to stop?
Because he was asking for my identification. My car was parked about 15 feet away.
Did you say to him, "Just one moment, I will get my identification, it's in the car,
I
come
said
with
my
me"?
ID is in my car.
This witness statement, which is contained in the reports that you gave me, seemed to indicate a lot of things that this witness heard which are consistent with your stories. He said he heard the officer yell, "You stop now," and then this witness heard you say, "Do not take my dog," but this witness never heard you say, "Just one moment, my identification is in my car, would you follow me over to the car?" Never heard that. I don't believe he ever said that. I think that you were all irritated with him because certainly he's not the most popular guy on the block.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Animal Control Officer Lauren Bunnell says while issuing a citation to Joanne Thompson, she assaulted him. Joanne says Lauren is exaggerating.
Mr. Bunnell, can you tell me what happened as a result of this complaint that the defendant filed against you?
As a result of that complaint, I was brought into the office with our director and my supervisor. I had to state my case, and I can't say whether they believe me or not. It is a complaint that's in my file, and I have an excellent work record. And this I'm going to have to answer to for the rest of my career at Animal Control.
Don't get so crazed. Listen to me. Don't get so crazed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't lose too many nights' sleep over that. You understand, sir?
Okay.
Okay. And I repeat, Ms. Thompson, your witness who claims to have seen it and heard everything did not indicate the 2 things that are most crucial to your case, which are that he forcibly put his hands on you by trying to have you stop by grabbing your sweatshirt, and 2, that you said to him, "My identification is in my car, let's go over to get it." So I suggest to you that you just decided to blow him off that day and were kind of irritated at the whole thing, and that probably a few people left in the park did get nasty and did say to him something like, get a life, you know, get a real job. Well, he happens to have a real job, and there are people who are walking in the park who may not be comfortable around a lot of unleashed dogs. And certainly you now acknowledge that one of your dogs was unleashed, although when you originally spoke to his superior, you told him that you were walking 2 leashed dogs in the park.
I never said my other dog was on a leash. I didn't have a leash for her. She was epileptic.
Well, what
She could
you
hardly
indicated,
walk.
Ms. Thompson, what you indicated in your answer even to this court was that you were holding your other dog who was epileptic.
And I put it on the ground.
Only now did you say that, but you didn't say that in any statement before that you gave, that the dog was in fact in violation of the park regulations and city ordinance that says all dogs must be on leashes. It doesn't say that all big dogs have to be on leashes, it says all dogs have to be on leashes. So the truth of the matter was that when he wanted to give you a citation for a dog being off the leash, he had a right to do that.
He had an absolute right to give me a citation.
Then why didn't you just stop, Ms. Thompson?
That was in the detective's report.
Then why didn't you? Then why didn't
Because,
you just stop?
Your Honor, he was acting like a crazy person. He was running back and forth between the other woman and I told him my ID was in the car. We were almost to my car. Grabbing me wasn't what bothered me. His attempt to unleash my dog was what upset me. And
Well, that's what you thought he was doing. He says he was just trying to get the identification from the tag on the dog so that he could, in fact, follow up and file a citation. And if you just given him your identification, said, I'm going to give you my identification, I'll go and fight the citation another time, none of this would have happened. Truth of the matter is, you were walking away. And when police came to your house, again, you refused to come out of the house. Not with your dogs or without. You refused to come out of your house. You said, put it in the mail. Well, it's also an indication that your intent was to be uncooperative. Now, you were not hurt, Mr. Brunel, is that correct?
No, I was not hurt.
You were not hurt at all?
No, ma'am.
All right. Officer Brunel, goes with the territory. Do you know what I mean? If you said to me, she pushed you down, you were hurt, you were injured, believe me, I would make an award in your favor. You are not wrong. That's your job. Your job is to give citations to people who walk their dogs without leashes, especially in a park that's, you know, open to everyone, not just dogs. It's not a dog-run area. So you were doing your job. But I don't think you have to be compensated for this kind of thing. I think it was all very unfortunate. Did you, in fact, pay an attorney, Ms. Thompson, $5,000 to represent you?
I have the bills.
It was an expensive mistake. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you, Your Honor. You just blew this thing way beyond proportion.
She caused a 6-month-long ordeal for nothing.
4-year-old Derek Ward and his wife Terry Ward are suing Derek's daughter, 18-year-old student Tamika Ward, for an unpaid car loan, damages to the vehicle, and unpaid rent.
Order. All rise.
Your Honor, this is case number 308 on the calendar in the matter of Ward versus Ward. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Ward, this is your daughter?
Yes, it is.
Your daughter is now 18. You turned 18 in July?
Yes.
According to your complaint, sometime before your daughter was 18, you bought a car. The car was supposed to be her car. Is that right?
Yes.
And you claim that she owes you money for the car, which was repossessed because she didn't make payments that she was supposed to.
Exactly. Yes,
That she owes you for rent because she lived in your home after she turned 18 for a few months without paying you any rent.
Right.
And that she had an accident in the car causing some damage to the car.
Right.
Yes.
Let's start with the car. When was the car purchased?
March of last year.
And what was your arrangement with your daughter?
I purchased the car for her so she can go back and forth to school and to work.
So she was going to school.
Going to school and going to work also.
How did she do in school?
Basically, okay, C average.
Ever give you any trouble at home? I'm talking
No.
about trouble, drugs,
No,
alcohol,
definitely not. No, definitely.
arrests, nothing.
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it was one arrest. Shoplifting.
From a department store?
Targets, yes.
Okay. And nothing came of that, but that was the only problem that you had with
No,
her.
that was it.
So basically, she was a good kid.
Yeah.
Okay. So?
January, February, March, the car was not being paid on. You know, she always showed responsibility. She go ahead and pay the rent of the car and everything and show me the receipts. You know, and then sometimes I wouldn't even bother because long as The car, nobody called me and said, well, the car hasn't been paid on or anything, which I had never got no paperwork of that. So I just assumed everything was fine. And then all of a sudden one morning I was going to work in my own car, and I went outside and the car was gone. So in the meantime, I had to go get a loan to get the car out of hock.
No, Your Honor, that's not true. She had the loan before the car got repossessed.
I'm still listening. Okay. So
Anyway, we asked my daughter when she was at the house, did she pay December, January, February? It was in March when we got the loan. She told us the receipt was in the car. Okay. The receipt was not in the car. Took the car out of hock. She was with us, brought the car home. Then the day of her graduation, I was dressed to go to her graduation. And she decided to get flipped with me.
what did she say?
I asked her what was taking them so long getting dressed so we could go to her graduation. She told me, it ain't none of your business what I'm doing right now. You just be calm, and I know what I'm doing. I said, you're being late. I said, I asked y'all to do this 2 hours ago.
Your Honor, that's not true.
And
Just a second.
I said, you're staying in my house. I said, you're 17, you almost graduate. I said, you're going to make your mistakes here before you make it out in the street, so I can explain to you what's going on.
Tell me about the rent money that you want from your daughter.
Okay, the first time she left was on her graduation day. She left out the house.
In June?
Yeah. She went by my sister's house and stayed. My sister kicked out, and I told her to come back home. That's when I told her, when she come back home, she got to pay for rent.
Had she ever paid towards the rent before?
No, she haven't.
No, she never had to.
She ain't never had to. I ain't never made her pay rent. But since she was being flipped with her mouth and doing things saying she was grown and she could do this, she could do that, I felt that she needed to pay rent.
So that's the rent you're talking about. How many months did she live there?
1.
2.5.
Did she ever pay you any rent?
No.
She never
And
paid
tell me about the accident that she had.
Somebody sideswiped her.
Let me see the picture. Where is the damage to the car?
I have a picture of exactly what the damage
Can I
is right
see?
here.
Okay, thank you. That's the close-up of what you already have.
Were you in the car when somebody hit you?
I was in the car. I did not tell them they got sideswiped.
What happened?
I was driving, I was coming home from work on the freeway. This lady jumped in front of me, trying to get into my lane. I had to swerve, and I hit the center divider of the freeway. I went home, and I told her that I got in an accident. She didn't tell me, she told me not to go to the insurance company because our insurance would go up.
Tamika said
So Tamika said she was going to pay for it.
Yes, I did. But
And she never paid for it. She got mad again and left out the house again.
Okay, there we go. Did you agree to pay for the damage to the car?
I agreed to pay for the damage of the car when I had the car in my possession. When they took the car from me, when he kicked me out my second time, I said I wasn't going to pay for it because I didn't have the car.
Can I see the estimate for the damage, please?
Judge Judy, the only reason that she don't have the car, because as of her birthday, it was agreed with me, herself, and the bank that she would actually pay $25 to get that car in her name. She wants the car without putting it in her name. I told her I can't do that. It's going against the bank and myself.
But yet she gives the car to my aunt.
I did not
and my
give.
aunt's driving the car.
Listen
Well,
to me.
somebody has to pay
Listen
it.
to me. You cannot make a contract with anyone under the age of 18. So the fact that you purchased this car when she was 17 and she agreed to make the payments on the car is not binding upon her. Even a parent can't make a contract with a child until they're 18 years old, until they reach their majority. With regard to rent, I never heard anybody say that your daughter agreed to pay you rent. You said if you're going to live in this house, you're going to pay rent. But in order for there to be a contract, there has to be an agreement as to the amount, that she says, yes, I will pay you rent. Do you have such an agreement?
Yes, I do,
Let
but
me
she
take a
never
look
signed
at
it.
I never
Well,
signed
if she
it.
never signed it, then you don't have an agreement. As far as the damage to the car is concerned, ordinarily I wouldn't give you the damage to the car except that your daughter acknowledges that she said, I will pay for the damage to the car.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Derek and Terry Ward say Derek's daughter, Tamika Ward, owes for a car loan, car damages, and unpaid rent. Tamika says her father is being unfair.
Do you have other children?
Yes,
How many other children do you have?
we have one son,
And how old is that child?
21.
Okay, where does that child live?
Fresno State.
Doesn't live with you?
No.
So this is the baby?
That's the baby.
What does your son do in Fresno State?
Plays football.
And what are you doing now, Miss Ward?
Nothing right now.
Who do you live with?
My aunt.
So you're back with the aunt?
Yeah.
Same aunt that you were living with before?
Yeah.
Can I ask
What?
something? I still want her, if she wants the car, it still says July the 15th she was supposed to, if she only has to pay $25, she can have the car.
She doesn't want the car.
So
Right? If
for
she
her,
wants the car, she can have the car.
She's
It's
been
not what to
crying
hear.
about it. She
That's
said
not,
that's the reason she's not working, because she doesn't have the car.
No, the
so-
reason I'm not working was because I didn't have transportation getting back and forth to my job. I was living with my cousin. When he kicked me out, I was living in Rialto with my cousin. I had to go back and forth to work on the bus every day. I got off at 11 o'clock at night. The buses stopped running at 11. She wasn't going to come pick me up, and I had nowhere at home.
you seem like an intelligent young woman. Why aren't you in college?
All this stuff happened. I let everything go. But I'm going back. I wasn't going to stop, not go to school.
Yeah, you seem like a smart gal.
Yeah.
You seem like you should be doing something.
See, the problem is I was registered in school. I was living with them. I came back home to make matters good with him and her. I was living at home. I had got a job that day. The day he kicked me out, I was going to register for school. I had my registration fee. I had my loan taken care of and everything.
You filled out all the paperwork for that?
I filled out the paperwork
Oh.
because they said they would not do it.
She was a no-show. I co-signed for the application for her to go to college.
And
I called and couldn't find out she was a no-show, so I
I was a
canceled that.
no-show because I didn't have transportation.
Doesn't sound to me like you had have a bad teenager.
No, she's not bad at all.
Sounds to me as if you have a young lady who has tremendous potential and who hasn't given you a lot of grief. She may have a little bit of a fresh mouth, if that's what you're complaining about, sir. These days, that's not such a tremendous big deal. She went to high school. She worked her way through high school. She got reasonable grades. She had enough of a job so that you felt comfortable about the fact that she was going to pay for a car loan. That sounds pretty reasonable to me. Not to you?
Sure it does.
Only one problem with that, she wasn't going to pay for it.
She wasn't going to pay for what?
She wasn't paying for the car loan.
I was paying for that car for a year and a half
But you
straight.
did
No.
not pay the last car note, and lied and told me you did.
I didn't
You
pay the
just
last car note
don't
because I
fight
didn't
with
have
each
the car.
other. Let us say she didn't pay the last 2 months. She paid in May, she paid June, July, August, September, October, November. You say she didn't pay December, January, and February. Is that
was
right?
the first time.
She did not
Whatever, she paid something. I never had a child live with me that paid for a car that I got them.
Oh,
Never.
So she told me
Not when they were 17.
let me talk.
Go ahead.
Not when they were 18. Not when they're 30. What? So I don't know what you're complaining about your 17-year-old. You're being too hard on her. She looks like a very sweet girl.
Well,
Listen to me. Objectively. We're talking objectively. You tell me, stop playing with your papers, Mr. Ward. Lighten up a little bit. You say you have a 17-year-old daughter who graduated high school on time, and because of some misunderstanding the day of graduation, you didn't go, which was wrong thing for you to do. I mean, if you get angry, you take a deep breath, and you show up at graduation. You don't not go to your daughter's graduation from high school. Did you go?
Yeah, I went.
And who else? And who was there for you?
My boyfriend's family was here.
I wasn't
The only
there.
reason why she went because she said she had to get a program to show her job. Because she took that day
No,
off.
no. I'm sure that she went because, listen to me, I'm sure she went because she wanted to go. Your father's more of a, you know, he comes from the old school. There's nothing wrong with the old school, Mr. Ward. It worked for a lot of people for a lot of generations. This is my house. As long as you live in my house, I own the air you breathe. You follow my rules. You act respectfully. That's all wonderful. Somehow, in today's times, that it's not always as perfect as that. And in the scheme of things, believe me, in the 25 years that I was in the family court system, I've seen a lot of kids. And there were a lot of parents out there who would give their eye teeth for a daughter who went to high school, acted responsibly, had a job after school, probably paid for her own clothes and paid for her own stuff because that's what you work for when you know, spending money usually. And in addition to that, she helped contribute to her own transportation to get herself to school for a while, even if it was just for 8 months. And she paid for the insurance, even if it was just for 8 months.
can I say something?
Sure, Mr. Ward.
Okay, you saying that she's a nice kid. That's my child, true enough. I'm not bad on her, but there's things that I expect her to respect me on. Number one, she got a job. She didn't pay for everything you said. She might have paid for the car. Half the time, she didn't have enough money to pay for the insurance. I had to come out my pocket. When she wanted clothes, I had to come out my pocket. When she wanted food to eat, they had to come out my pocket.
That's your job.
That's my job. That's my job. But
that's
after she
your job.
turned 18, that was not my job.
I was only
that's-
staying with you for a month.
No,
after I
that's
was
your
18.
job. Listen
After
to
she
me.
turned 18, that is not my job.
And I was
That's
paying
the
for
law
my
here.
own food.
No, listen to me. While she was working and before she turned 18, it was your job to provide for your daughter everything that you possibly could.
Before she turned 18, true.
Well, that may be, sir. I don't know what magic thing goes off in your head when a child celebrates their 18th birthday and they blow out the candles and you say,
Well,
finished,
that's what
finished.
let me explain
Well,
to
Mr.
you.
Ward, I don't know.
Until you live in my house, you won't know.
I don't want to live in your house, Mr. Ward.
I wouldn't want you there.
I don't want to live in your house, and I guarantee you my children wouldn't want to live in your house, and his children wouldn't want to live in your house. You know, I don't know.
Your rules in your house is your rules.
Absolutely right, Mr.
So my
Ward.
rules in my house is my rules.
And I understand that, and I appreciate that.
At least
but as a parent,
my child, as me being a parent, I haven't raised no kid to be a gangbanger or anything else.
and you did very well with her,
No, I have not.
but you did.
Because the time is now. The law changed so much that kids right now, instead of listening to their parents, they listen to people in the street.
It is not a perfect world, sir.
I didn't say it was.
You're not paying attention.
I am paying attention.
It's not a perfect world. Children are different now. They're exposed to different stimuli. But we look at children, if I look at children objectively, and I look at your daughter objectively, she was a reasonably responsible teenager.
No.
You didn't have to take her out of rehab and put her back
Yes,
every
but-
other Tuesday and Thursday.
I never been in no rehab.
Let's put it like this here. I had to take her from different places. One was from jail.
You mean when she
That was
shoplifted?
when I shoplifted.
Because
That's
she
it.
was told before she did it, don't do it.
Just a second. I'm not talking about that, Mr. Ward. I'm talking about rehab.
You
That's
talking
not-
about somebody been going drinking?
No, I'm
drugs or
saying to
whatever?
you, kids get involved in a lot of things. Your daughter doesn't deserve any medals because she didn't, and because she seemed to have grown up well, probably because she lived in a household where there were rules. But she's not an irresponsible, off-the-wall teenager. And why you would sue her is something that is totally beyond me. To create a rift with your daughter over something like this is beyond me. You should be supporting her. And you should
How
be
can
supporting
you support
her
somebody
in
that
her.
spends all your money and don't
Your Honor,
appreciate
I've
what she
been
gets?
working since I was 14. I've
No,
been helping
she
them
hasn't.
That's
out
why I got you the
since
car,
I
'cause
was
you've been
14 years
working.
old. I was going to school, and in the summer I had to work. Okay, every year in high school I was working.
Okay.
And they're acting like I'm like just a bad person over here. I'm just telling you straight up. I had no time for nothing.
She's
Go
wrong.
to school and work. Pay their bills. I was paying all 3 cars insurance. When they
She's
lied and
wrong.
said it was just for my car.
Oh,
$265 just for one car.
for a month?
A month.
No, she wasn't. Her insurance was $200, and it was actually more than what she was paying. They bought it down. They bought it down because I put it on my insurance, and I put hers with mine. If she'd have
So
went
that
on
the
her
combined-
own,
just
she didn't
a-
have to pay
Just a sec-
$277.
Just a second. This is getting interesting. Is what you're telling me, Mr. Ward, that because you put the insurance on this car on your combined policy,
Her insurance went down.
her insurance went down, but the amount that she was paying covered all 3 cars?
No.
Yes, it did.
Well,
I
how
can get
much
the
was the
policy.
insurance on your 2 cars?
The insurance for me was $84. Insurance for my wife, hers was a little bit lower, was either 69 or 64.
And mine was 160.
And
so
hers
if you add
was
all that up,
200.
that's 200 and something. There's
No.
no way no one would pay
No,
for
no.
almost $400, $500 a month
No,
for
no.
insurance.
That doesn't sound right to me.
Okay.
Somehow it doesn't sound right to me. I just changed my mind about this accident. You should have put it into your insurance.
Yeah, sure. I should have bought that.
You should have put it into your insurance. If you had put it into your insurance, what did you have, a $500 deductible?
Yeah.
Or no deductible?
$500 deductible.
Did you have the car fixed?
No.
No, I don't have the car.
She gave it to my aunt. My aunt's son is driving it back and forth to school now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Other than
He
giving it
gave her-
back
Is
to
that right?
the bank.
Your aunt's son
No, my sister-in-law have it because I cannot afford that.
and another minor is driving the car?
Well, I
No,
didn't
No, he's not a
approve of
minor. He's a
that.
grown man.
How old is
But
He's 20.
I didn't approve of that. I told my sister-in-law.
I
to
gave
go
my
ahead.
sister
Yeah,
the car.
while I
And
was
his
at work.
truck.
he? Just a second.
So now they're all
Just a
together.
second. Well, you're making a big mistake because a 20-year-old boy has more of a problem getting insurance than a 20-year-old girl. That I know because I've had both boys and girls. Boys are less responsible. So if you're letting your 20-year-old nephew, who is not a grown man, a 20-year-old male can hardly be described as a grown man, then that's a big mistake on your part. I don't think your daughter owes you anything. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
If you're over 18, you stay in somebody's house, you're supposed to pay rent.
I don't feel I owe them anything. I've been paying everything up to date.
And if the law is like that, the law needs to be changed.
If they want to talk to me, that's fine, but I'm not just going to stop talking to my parents.
Sign a
Don't
car,
co-sign a
nothing
car or
else.
anything else for your
Let
child.
them get it on
Let
their
them get it on
own.
their
That way
own.
they appreciate it more.
I just want to put all this past me and go on with my
Step forward, please.
34-year-old former bartender Becky Bishop is suing her former employer, 43-year-old bar owner Greg Quast, for the unpaid balance on karaoke discs.
Miss Bishop, you are employed at the defendant's bar. According to your complaint, had somewhat of a relationship with the defendant. You would purchase a series of karaoke discs that I assume would be used at the bar. You would buy them on your credit card. The defendant would reimburse you for those discs when he got them. Then you say he fired you and he still owes you money for the last batch of discs.
Correct.
Okay. When did you start working for him?
I worked for Greg from June of 2000 until June of 2001. I just worked for him one night a week.
When did you start to purchase these discs?
The first one that I ordered was August 4th of 2000. There were a total of 26 CDs ordered at a value of $1,125.95.
Okay. Now, you ordered the first batch and he paid you?
Well, it was an ongoing thing. I had asked him to make payments to me once a month when I would pay my credit card. Also during that time, he had borrowed a total of $2,000 in rent money. He had borrowed it 4 different times.
Not true, Your Honor.
Just a minute. Well, she's not suing for that, so evidently you paid it back.
Right. But at the times that he was paying the $500 back, he didn't make monthly payments on the CDs.
Did you borrow $2,000 from her over the course of...
No, Your Honor, it's $1,500.
$1,500. You borrowed that,
Yes,
and you paid it back.
yes.
So you were having some financial difficulty? I mean, you own this bar, is that right?
No, not really financial difficulty. At the time, I would have rent due, and I'd be waiting for a weekend, so I'd borrow the money, which Becky offered to loan.
Well, if you didn't need it, you wouldn't have taken it. So when I said you had some financial
Yes,
difficulties, the answer is yes.
Yes.
You have any records of the purchases of these tapes and how much you paid towards them?
I have invoices for them, not with me because the invoices are here in the complaint. But
Do you have the checks of the money that you gave
I
her?
would not give her a check. I would pay her in cash.
Did you get a receipt?
No, I did not.
Well, your defense is that you do owe her some money, $150 for the last batch of tapes
Correct.
that she purchased. You say in your answer that why would she continue to purchase these tapes if I hadn't been paying her all along?
Correct.
And in addition to that, you want a ring back that you had given her that's of some sentimental value to you.
Correct.
How much in total did he pay you back towards these karaoke tapes?
Well, he paid all but $600, so it would have been $525.
Now, how do you know that he only paid $525?
Because I, at the time, had just a plain index card. Greg and I were very good friends, and there was a lot of trust involved in this. I had it just written down on an index card, and at the time that we stopped talking then, he was telling everyone that he didn't know me as much as I was claiming. I know from experience with him, if he says, I'm not getting it back, I'm not getting it back. And so I just dropped it. Then in September, I received a credit card statement where he had used my credit card to purchase another CD.
Did you do that?
That's not true. No, that is not true.
Well, let me see that he did that.
I have a...
Can I see it, please?
These are all the invoices where you can see my name and address. And then this is the one with his.
Were you fired
Yes,
in June of this year?
somewhere around June.
Would you show this to the defendant, please?
Yes, I have a copy of that, Your Honor.
And what you're telling me is that you did not order that CD?
No. I ordered that CD, but the situation behind it was she had ordered a CD that was a wrong number. I called this company that we ordered them from. They said the only way we can do this is we can send you the CD you want on her credit card, and when you send back the one that was wrong, we will recredit her credit card. That was the only way they would do that.
Yeah, but you didn't get another credit on a credit card.
No, I sent back the one that was sent.
That is a
She
charge.
should got a credit on her credit card.
I got the credit on my credit card.
Exactly.
After I called and said, what is this? I haven't ordered from you since June. They said, no, Greg called and ordered it, and you can see how it's in his name and address now.
If you knew that you still owed her money, which you acknowledge.
That was part of the amount of money I owed her, that tape.
No, that
But
one
you
is
hadn't
not.
paid her the money. You ordered this in September.
Correct.
I know it's correct. Well, why hadn't you paid her the money that you owed
Because I
her?
was waiting for my ring. I told her, give me my
All
ring,
right,
and
let's
I'll
go.
pay you the money.
Let's go to the ring. Tell me about the ring. You tell me about the ring.
The ring was a ring of my father's. It has no probably value except for sentimental value for me.
Okay.
I gave her that ring in lieu of the payment.
Explain it. No, tell me when that happened.
This happened sometime in probably early September
Of what year?
of this year.
Now, you fired her in June of 2001.
Correct.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving her the ring in September, some 3 months later.
When I fired her at that time on her piece of paper, which I'm sure she probably don't have today, I owed her $250.
Yes.
She followed me home from my bar one night after she was barred. She said she wanted some more money. I gave her another $100, but she really wanted to talk about a relationship with me, and she would not leave my house. So I gave her another $100. I seen her out at another place one night. She was telling everybody how much I owed her. So I said, here, you take this ring. You know it means a lot to me, and I'll pay you your $150. She didn't want the $150. She wanted $600. So that's why she would not give me back the ring.
Tell me how you got the ring.
Okay. I did run into Greg downtown. He came back to my home, and...
That's not true.
And he left this ring there. This is the first I've heard that this was in lieu of payment. I wouldn't accept a quarter for this ring, let alone $150, okay? He called me the next day, asked me if it was at my home. I said yes. That evening, a person who does not want he and I to even be friends found out he was at my home, and that's the last time we have really spoken to each other.
What kind of metal is this? Would you take a look and see? I mean, I wouldn't even bite into it. I'd be afraid.
My guess would be fool's gold.
So this is a perfect match. Give it to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Look, Miss Bishop,
Yes.
I believe that he owes you some money. I don't believe he owes you $600. Because you just said to me, I wouldn't accept the ring for $150. Isn't that what you just said to me?
Well, that's what he said it was
No.
worth.
You just said, I wouldn't accept the ring for $150.
Isn't that what he said he owes me?
That's what he says he owes you, but certainly that's not what you claim that he owes you, and you have no records of what he owes you.
I understand.
Did he ever give you a cash payment of $100 after he fired you?
Yes, he did.
He did. So that everything pretty much what he says is accurate. I'm not exactly sure about the ring. The ring certainly isn't worth 150 cents. In any event, I think that in all probability, somewhere in the middle of this $150 and $600 is pretty much what he owes you. Very, very hard for me to figure out what it is because neither of you keep receipts. You said you kept a card, an index card, of every payment that he paid you, but you don't have the card.
Correct.
Why not?
Because I knew I was never going to get my money back.
So what did you do with the card?
I threw it away.
And then you decided to sue him.
When he used my credit card, correct.
$38.45.
Right.
Right, so that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes,
The
it was.
$600 didn't do it for you, but the $38
Well, I
did.
don't go to
Judgment
court,
for
I
the
don't.
judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $250. Somewhere in the middle. You got your $100, that gives you $350. I don't think he owes you any more than that. That's all.
Parties are excused.
Thank you,
You
Your
may
Honor.
step out.
Thank you.
She wanted more than a friendship relationship with me, and when she didn't get it, this was her way of going after it.
Greg couldn't tell the truth to save his life.
I fired her because when she found out we were nothing but friends, she was starting to be rude to female customers that had come in there, and they eventually left, and it cost me business.
His quote to my friends were, I couldn't get a date if I tried with her there.
She would just be rude to them, you know, and eventually they would leave, and a couple of them
Step forward, please.
28-year-old sales rep Gretchen Bellman is suing her ex-boyfriend, 28-year-old mechanical engineer Justin Curtis, for unpaid credit card charges. Justin says Gretchen ran over his ankle with her car, so they're even.
Mr. Curtis, you look petrified, sir.
A little nervous, Your Honor.
Good. I don't want you to get too comfortable, Mr. Curtis. Miss Bellman, according to your complaint, the cardinal sin was committed by you when you placed him on your joint checking account. The next thing that you foolishly did was you gave him a credit card that you were responsible for that was attached to your, somehow, to your checking account.
Checking account, correct.
While involved in this domestic bliss, he managed to run up a bill of in excess of $5,000 on the credit card. Then you broke up. Now, Mr. Curtis here doesn't seem to deny in his answer that he ran up these bills on the credit card that exceed $5,000. You have two defenses. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
The first defense is that she told you that as long as you paid the truck loan, she was forgiving the $5,000 worth of credit card charges.
Truck payments and the car insurance.
The second defense is that she had, in fact, caused an injury to your foot when she ran over your foot or your ankle with a car, and that she should be responsible for paying your medical bills, etc. Those
And
are your
lost
two
wages.
And lost wages. So, since there is no issue other than your bad judgment with regard to giving him access to your money, we're going to go directly to Mr. Curtis because I have to see what his defenses are. Do you understand?
Yes.
She co-signed for a loan for a truck for you. You have the truck.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did she co-sign for the truck?
April of 2000.
What are you asking me for? I don't know the answer to that question,
I'm
Mr.
trying
Curtis.
to think of it. April 2000.
And were you living together at the time?
No.
But you were in a relationship at the time.
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you made the payments regularly?
Yes, and I have evidence of that.
Good. Why did she have to co-sign this truck loan for you?
I don't have very good credit, Your Honor. And I knew I wouldn't be approved by myself, and my truck had broken down, and I needed a vehicle. And she said, I mean, we were figuring on spending the rest of our lives together, so she co-signed for me.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
You have parents?
Divorced parents, Your Honor.
Divorce doesn't mean they're dead.
Yeah,
They're still alive.
parents, yes.
So you didn't ask your parents to co-sign for the truck loan?
No.
You asked her?
I don't know. I wouldn't ask my parents. Well, it just came down to that, and she basically agreed to it. I don't know.
Well, you must have asked her.
Yeah.
Asked her.
We talked about it mutually, yes.
What kind of truck did you buy?
Z71 Chevy extended cab.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a mechanical engineer.
Do you work in an office?
No, I'm outdoors.
So you need this truck for business?
For business, yes. I put on about 50,000 miles a year. I drive all over.
How much is this truck?
22,000. And we got extended warranty. It costs a little bit more. And
Not we, you.
Yeah.
Shouldn't drive the truck.
It's me.
What date did you separate?
October. Well, we were living together, and she broke up with me July 4th.
When did you start living together? I thought when you bought the truck.
October 2000.
You started living together?
Yep. And we lived together till October 2001 because that was the lease. But we broke up before that, and we still lived together.
And now, when did this incident happen with your foot?
September 22nd of 2001.
How did it happen?
Well, she's your classic redhead. She's very fiery, short-tempered. We're out drinking at a bar, having dinner. And I went over and talked to my friends, and she was sitting on the couch, and I left her alone, so she stormed out of the bar, and I went chasing her, saying, I need a ride, at least give me the keys, I need a ride home. She got in her car, she wouldn't let me in, she locked the car door, so I stood on the side of her car on her side steps and hang on, and she backed out of the parking spot, I fell off and ran over my ankle.
So you stood on her car?
I was standing on the side steps so she wouldn't take off. I wanted keys to get in the house.
Jumping
and she
up
backed
and down.
And she backed up fast, must have been too fast. I fell off in the front tire.
What were you doing on her car?
So she'd give me the keys to my house. So
Well,
I'd get in.
then you're responsible for your own accident.
Yep.
She's not responsible for your accident. You are.
Well, why would she back out when I'm standing?
Why would you stand on her car? Why don't you go and ask the person who you were talking to when you were leaving her alone in the bar to give you a ride home?
Just a couple of friends I haven't seen in a long time. So.
Go, well, good. A couple of friends. Ask them for a ride home. Don't go standing on her car. She wanted to leave. You didn't want her to leave. You stood on her car. She left. It's the way it goes. So I've just taken care of one of your defenses. Now tell me about this. Forget about the credit card, just as long as you pay the truck loan.
When we broke up, in one of our conversations, she said on the phone, I don't care about the credit card. I don't care about anything. She goes, just keep on making the payments on the truck and the car insurance, and I'll take care of everything else.
Did you say that to him?
You know, why would I tell him that?
No, I'm asking you a question, not why would. Don't ask me a question. I ask questions, you answer. Did you tell him that you were forgiving the credit card bills?
I said, I just want you out of my life, and I don't want to have to call you every month, which I had to have to do every month to get him to pay the card. He never paid the card on time, and so I said, I just don't want to have to deal with you. But then the more I got to thinking about it, I'm like, this is $5,000 that's going out of my pocket that he frivolously charged just in
Let me see the
overdraft.
things that he bought.
Your Honor, it's a joint checking account. Credit card's her name. There's no way to prove that if they're all mine. They could
Well, I
be
want to
hers,
take
too.
a look and see. You didn't even mention that as one of your defenses, sir, that they're not your charges. I just want to see what kind of things were purchased. What are all these overdrafts from credit card or online? What is this?
That's the credit card is an overdraft protection, or it's like basically a credit card in a joint checking account.
So you would go and get cash out of this? You would
not
put your
necessarily
money
saying.
into the account?
It was both of ours, Your Honor. The joint checking account. She had the card for that same account, too.
Actually, I didn't use anything in the card because he had actually convinced me after I had took his debit card. Because, see, the problem is that
There's
he
no way
thinks
to prove
the
it that
debit
they're
card
buying.
is just, it says Visa, so he thinks it's just a credit card. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to get myself a primary checking account. He could not even get a checking account. So I left my name as the primary on this checking account, and I had direct deposits and paid all the bills out of my account.
So how many accounts did you have?
I had 2 accounts, but I did nothing with that account. I said, you know what, you prove to me that you're responsible, and you take care of this checking account. And look what happens. $5,000 later, I've got
There might be hers, too, Your Honor.
nothing.
It's a joint- There's a joint checking account. They're both
It
mine.
might be.
They're not mine. I mean, it's a joint checking account. There's no way they're not. She could be having some of the charges on there too, because she had access to it too.
Mr. Curtis, that's possible, sir. Did you have any other checking account at the time that you had this one?
No, Your Honor.
Did you deposit your check any place other than in this account?
No, Your Honor.
Did she deposit her check, her paycheck, in this account?
She did, and then she did on her other one too.
No,
No. Well, I'm going to let you look at these things, and you show me where she deposited her check in this account. Okay? I see yours.
I don't even see any deposits in here.
You used this account for a year, sir. Is that right?
We both did, Your Honor.
No, you say you both did. That's not what you say in your answer, sir. I read your answer very carefully. Your answer is twofold. Your answer says, A, she ran over your foot, and B, she forgave the money. Nowhere in your answer did you say that there's no way of establishing how much is her money and how much is mine. And why would she maintain a second checking account that would just be confusing? That would be illogical.
Yes, Your Honor.
So all I have to determine is, Mr. Curtis, is whether, in addition to being foolish and giving you an account in which she was also responsible, whether she also was foolish enough to say in actuality, I'm going to forgive this $5,000 as long as you make payments on the truck.
I didn't care. I just wanted to be done. Didn't want to deal with her
You
anymore.
wanted to be done. You paid
And
her
all
what
of a sudden I get a deputy sheriff at my workplace handing me papers saying she's serving me in court.
Well, then you should have paid what you owed her. You deposited your check, you drew money out, you drew out more money than you deposited, building up a balance of well over $5,000. There is no reason in the world, there is no consideration for her really excusing this debt because you are under an obligation to pay for the truck loan anyway. You still have the truck, don't you?
Yes, the truck is in her name and my name. The checking account was in her name, and the credit card was in her name.
I understand that, but she has 2 accounts, sir. One you used and one she used. Miss Bellman, how old are you?
28. I know. I've been through it. I know.
How many times?
2 years.
No, not only with him. Have you ever done it before?
No, never.
Will you ever do it again?
Never.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She wanted to end the relationship. I just wanted to get rid of her, and then she takes me to court.
He wasn't making even the minimum payments. I just wanted the car paid off, so I don't have to call him every month and remind him to make a payment.
She told me I didn't have to make the payments, so I didn't.
10-year-old military serviceman Gerald Vasala for an unpaid loan to buy a car. Gerald says the money was a gift.
Miss Kittle, the defendant was a boyfriend of yours. You dated for a while, and then you were foolish enough to loan him some money so that he could purchase a car, according to you. Mr. Vasala acknowledges the fact that you gave him money for the car. Only Mr. Vasala says there was no loan. This was a gift that you made to him. Is that your defense, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
When did he purchase this car?
February 10th of 2001.
Were you still dating at the time?
Yes, we were.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you turning money over to him.
We went to a used car sale.
Look at me.
We went to a used car sale at Qualcomm Stadium. He could only withdraw $350 at that time. According to him, his bank was located in Chicago. He couldn't go to the bank and withdraw the money. I told him I could go to my bank. I had Wells Fargo. I could withdraw the money and loan it to him, and he could pay me back the following day.
How much did you take out of your account and give him that day?
$1,800.
So far, did she give you $1,800?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all we want to know. And you have proof of that with a bank withdrawal, I
Yes.
assume. Can I see it, please? What kind of a car did you purchase?
1987 Oldsmobile, color Supreme.
And how much was the total purchase price?
I think $21.50 was the total.
So the next day comes, he didn't give you back the money.
No.
So I'll hear you.
Well, she did give me the money to purchase a car. Like I said, she gave it to me. It wasn't a loan. I'm freezing up right now.
Freezing? This is not a good time to freeze, sir.
I know that.
Let me see if I can make it easier for you.
Okay.
You're at this car sale.
Right.
You see a car that you like.
Right.
When you saw the one that you liked, did you have to negotiate the price with
Yes.
someone?
Yes.
Who did you negotiate the price
With
with?
a car salesman.
And what was the original purchase price?
I think it was, I'm not sure, somewhere in the lower threes. I'm not sure exactly.
And you dickered back and forth, and you finally came up with a price?
Right.
So now he says to you, okay. What's your first name?
Gerald.
Do they call you
Oh,
Gerald?
Jerry.
Okay, Jerry, we got a deal. $21.50. You got me down. You're a great negotiator, Jerry. $21.50. Where's your money?
At the bank.
At the bank.
Right.
Okay. So is that what you told the salesman?
Yeah, we got in
And
the
then you
car.
went to the bank
Yes.
with the plaintiff.
Right.
And what happened when you got to the bank?
I tried taking the money out of the ATM. I wasn't aware there was a limit, so I was only take out $3 or $3.50.
Okay, so you get to the bank and you're really surprised, Jerry, that you
Right.
could only take out $3.50 because you had enough money to cover it, right?
Right.
Because you wouldn't have bought this car if you'd had, at that moment, if you didn't have enough
Correct.
money to cover it,
Yes.
right? So, gee, all I can take out is $3.50. What's your first name?
Kristen.
Kristen. All I can take out is $3.50. I love this car. So Kristen says, don't worry, I can give you the money. Right?
Right.
Because I have Wells Fargo. Jerry! Are you getting my point?
Yes, I get your point.
So Kristen, your girlfriend, says, don't worry, I can take out the other $1,800 and you'll give it back to me. Excuse me? You don't want to say anything, do you?
No, I haven't.
So she takes out the $1,800 and she gives it to you.
Yes.
When for the first time did Miss Kittle ask you for this money back?
After we had broken up.
And how much later was that?
A few months. I'm not sure exactly how long.
Really?
Right.
No. When did you ask him for the money back?
I asked him for the money back when we were together. He said he couldn't pay it all back. He had other debts. He needed to get another job, and he asked for some more time. And I said, you know what, we're together at the time.
Well,
I'll
let
give
me
you-"
ask you this question. You're not together now, are you?
Oh, no.
He said to you he didn't have all the money right then and there. However, old Jerry told you he wanted to go to the bank. Put your papers down, Jerry.
Okay.
He said, let's go to the bank so I can get out the money. So the next day or a couple of days later when he said to you, well, I don't have all the money, common sense would suggest you say to him, Jerry, you had the money in the bank when you bought the car because you just said you couldn't get all the money out because they would only give you $350. So you had the money in the bank. Why won't you give it to me?
Well,
Wouldn't that be part of your conversation with him?
Well, actually, can I tell you what happened was that...
Yeah, I want you to actually tell me what happened.
Okay, actually, afterwards, he allegedly said that he got $1,000 stolen from him. He was staying at the military hospital at the time, and he was going home to Chicago. He owed his mom $500. He had other debts to pay, and he didn't have the money to pay me back at the time.
So he asked you if you would wait.
Yes.
And you said?
I said, that's fine. I still have a little bit of money in the bank. That's fine.
And then shortly thereafter, you broke up.
Yes.
And when you broke up, you filed a lawsuit against him.
Yes.
And then he tried to whittle his way back into your good graces.
So-so, yes.
But so you withdrew the lawsuit at that time?
He said he wanted to get a job to make some money. I tried to...
So you withdrew the lawsuit
resort.
at that time?
Yes.
Fine. Now, old Jerry, you made some payments on this car.
Yes.
To her.
Only
When?
to try and stop it from coming to court.
When?
When? I don't know the exact dates. She probably has them.
Well, before or after you broke up with her the second time?
Before.
How much does he still owe you?
He owes me $1,600.
Jerry, it's not nice to try to fool Mother Nature, sir. You understand
Not
that?
trying to fool nobody.
Yes, you did.
All right, can I go back for a second here?
Can you go back for a second?
Yeah,
Where,
because
Jerry?
I had proof here that I had the money to pay her back. And when I tried paying her, she was telling me, no, it's not necessary. I tried getting her routing and account number.
Yes, I understand that. Papers say that you tried to get her routing number so that you could wire the money into her account.
Right.
Right? And that you had trouble getting her routing number.
Right.
Right, no, I got that. I read that in the paper. So why did you just get a check? That check and mail it to her?
She told me not to worry about it. She told me you don't have to pay me back.
Never happened.
It did happen.
Never
It did happen. You weren't there. I was. It happened.
Listen, Jerry, what happened was you could only take out $350 from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted the car. She said, I can get the money for you. You're a couple. She got the money. She expected to be paid back. You fetched and cried like a baby, and you said, I got other bills, money was stolen, I owe my mother $500, could I take a little time to pay you back? And she said, sure. So you took care of what you considered your other responsibilities, and then when you got around to it, you sent her $50 here and $50 there, and all of a sudden you made up in your mind that this was really a gift. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,600, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She follows me. She's waiting in parking lots for me. She walked in my house unannounced, calls all hours of the night.
All I have to say is what's done is done. It's in the past.
I tried doing it so it didn't have to come to court.
I've had to borrow money from my parents. I'm in debt.
I would pay her $16,000 for the
Bail bondsman Linda Awald is suing 31-year-old Lori Wilson for skipping bail.
Miss Awald, you are a bail bonds lady.
Correct, Your Honor.
You don't know the defendant other than through business, is that right?
Only through business.
According to your complaint, she contacted you because she was arrested for something. Pay attention, Miss Wilson. You were driving with a suspended license?
Yes, ma'am.
And she was being held in jail. She asked you to arrange the bail. You did. You claim she owes you some money.
Correct.
She never paid for the bond, which was $150?
That's right, Your Honor.
And she made a series of collect calls. When did she call you?
Starting on October 5th, as I accepted the calls, I noticed a very distraught young lady. She was crying all the time. I do have a heart, so it got to me a little bit, enough to where
What did she say?
She said she was in jail and she needed to get out.
How much did it cost for you to issue the bond?
$150, Your Honor.
And how is that done?
She had money on the commissary books.
What does that mean on the commissary books?
That means when she went into jail, she had $170.76 on her, and they confiscate the money, put it on their records, and issue her a check upon her release. Sometimes I do this, if they have the money on the books, it's issued in their name back to them, and then they must sign it and put payable to Linda Awald.
Now I understand. So you said, I'll get the bond for you, which will be $150, and instead of you getting your check for the money that you had when you were arrested, you'll assign it to me, and that's how I'll get paid.
That's correct.
Okay. So she was, in fact, released?
She was, in fact, released, yes.
What happened to her check?
The officer that was going to be releasing Miss Wilson told me that he would confiscate the check back from her and hold it for me. And the officer got slightly distracted, I believe, and he released her.
With the check?
He released her, and she picked up the check and ran.
Okay. When was she due back in court?
She was due back in court on the 7th of October.
Did she show up?
No, she didn't, Your Honor.
So what happened?
So that issues a warrant for her arrest. At that time, it is my duty to either recover her or arrange for a recovery agent, which was done. And she turned herself in after 2 weeks. She went to the courtroom, I believe on the 6th of November, and Ms. Wilson and I did talk a little bit. She came over and approached me, which I thought was big of her. Ms. Wilson was wanting very much to clear things up. She now has 3 children and 1 grandchild, and the grandchild means the world and all to her. I think enough to maybe turn her head at that point in time.
Did she give you your $150?
She never paid me.
Okay, Miss Wilson, let's go. Let's start with, you call her. You tell her you want her to bail you out of jail. She tells you it's $150. You tell her that you have a commissary check. You left with the commissary check. Why?
Because my boyfriend was supposed to have paid her.
He didn't.
I told her if he didn't pay, if she really didn't get her money, I told her I would give her money.
But you didn't.
$10. No, I haven't yet. I didn't. I don't have it, ma'am.
All right. So you didn't give her the $150. You have no proof that the boyfriend gave her $150, which is what you said in your answer.
He was supposed to when I
I don't supposed to. All you had to do was say to your boyfriend, did you give her the $150?
I hadn't seen him.
But you did see him eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
So?
And he did say he didn't give her the money.
Why didn't you show up in court when you were supposed to on the 7th of October?
I really don't have a good explanation for that.
Okay, that's honest. You were arrested for driving with a suspended license?
Yes, ma'am.
This the first time you were arrested?
No, ma'am.
No. So you've been through bonding procedures before?
Yes, ma'am.
So you know the drill?
Yes, ma'am.
How many different bail bondsmen have you used in the past?
Just 2.
Did you stiff the last one?
No. I wasn't trying to take anything from her.
Yeah, you were. You took your money. You have 3 children. How old are they, Miss Wilson?
15, 13, and 11.
Who do they live with?
My mom.
Your 15-year-old has a child?
Yes, ma'am.
Where does that child live?
With my mother.
You don't live with your mother?
I moved in there about a month ago.
Your mother has custody of the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Who are you working for now?
I'm not.
You have a substance abuse problem?
Yeah, I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic.
Have you ever been into a residential rehabilitation program?
Yeah.
How long?
60 days.
Didn't work? No.
No.
Why don't you try longer? You got 3 children.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you're going to have to find something.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I've arranged for her a victory home. It's run by a pastor and his daughter, but this is a commitment on her part, and she must make that commitment voluntarily.
What got you so interested in her, Miss Awol? You don't go the extra mile for everybody.
No. I felt sorry. I have kind of a soft heart if they cry a lot. And she cried a whole lot. And I felt right away very strongly that this girl is on a dead-end road.
How old are you, Miss Wilson?
31. Yeah.
All right. You're a 31-year-old grandmother. You got 3 children, none of whom live with you. You could either be dead by the time you're 40, or you can be a parent to your children and a grandparent to your grandchild. It's all up to you. Probably been abusing yourself for a very long time. Time to stop. When are you going to stop? 31. When are you going to stop? When?
Now?
I hope so. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $250, that's all.
Oh my God.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It wasn't my intentions to take anything from her.
I do think that she intentionally would give me back that money on her own if she had the means to do that.
Just like to tell you I'm sorry, Linda.
I just hope that this will be enough to put her in the right.
24-year-old clerk Mary Caldwell is suing her ex-girlfriend, 24-year-old plumber Janet Madrid, for an unpaid loan to buy a car.
Miss Caldwell, you and the defendant were living together. You were in a relationship when you claim you made a loan to her to purchase a car for the down payment. Is that right?
Correct.
And according to you, the car down payment was $2,500. She made one payment of $200 to you and has failed to pay the rest. You want your money back?
Yes, correct.
The defendant says there was never a loan. When was the car purchased?
July of 2000.
How long had you been living together prior to that?
Over a year.
Now, as part of the defendant's response to your complaint, she says that a year before that, you had wanted to purchase a car, and she sold a couple of motorcycles that she had. Is that right?
Yes.
And gave you the money to put down on a car that you wanted to buy. Is that true?
Yes.
How much did she give you?
I don't have an amount for you, I'm sorry.
Did you ever pay her back?
Nope.
You are living together at this time in a relationship as a family. Is that right?
Correct, at the time.
And am I also correct that this car that she purchased was put in both of your names?
Correct. For the reason that she didn't have a driver's license, she was unable to drive.
All right. Now tell me the circumstances surrounding this alleged loan, Miss Caldwell.
We were in a relationship. It was falling out at the time, but she asked me to loan her the money, in which I
What
loaned
did she
her.
say?
She said, I want to get a car, and I told her, okay, that's fine. I had the money on me. I said, well, it needs to be a loan. Do you understand that? And she said, yes. At that time, we went shopping around for a car. She chose the vehicle that she wanted. I made the down payment on it. She told me that she was going to pay me back. It was a verbal agreement between the both of us.
That sounds all pretty pat. All right, Miss Madrid, let me hear your version of it.
I never told her that I want to borrow the
No,
money.
I want you to tell me step by step. Don't tell me what you never told her.
We both said that we need a car.
Why? You already had a car.
No, because the car that she bought before this car had got repoed because she couldn't make the car payment on it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that.
Sorry.
When had it gotten repossessed?
Maybe about 2 to 3 months before we bought this other car. And I was paying the last couple payments on that car because she couldn't pay for it. She lost her job. And so I said, I want to go get a car. And she's like, okay, yeah, we do need a car. And she had just got a settlement from an accident. And she's like, well, I have the down payment for the car. And I was like, okay, fine. I thought it was just like me giving her the down payment for her car. I thought it was an even swap.
Well, even swap. You said you gave her $800. This is $2,500.
Yeah, well, our whole relationship, you know, she never paid bills. I paid all the bills. She never paid rent, nothing. I supported her.
Your
She
Honor.
didn't have a job. She didn't have a job. Anytime she needed money, okay, here, Mary, here's some money.
So?
So I took the loan out on the car to finance the rest of the car, and I've been paying on it ever since.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In February of 2001, you gave her $200. What was that for?
It was probably for insurance or something.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Because insurance was in her name.
Yes, the insurance was under my name because she didn't have a license. How was the insurance going to be under her name if she didn't have a license?
I asked you a question.
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I do clerical.
Where? For whom?
For a hospital.
Which hospital?
It's actually called Medical Group.
How long have you been working there?
About 5 months.
Prior to that, where were you working?
Prior to that, I was working at a temporary agency.
So you weren't working regularly prior to that?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me about this alleged $200 payment.
When she was kicking me out of the house, she told me that she wanted all my stuff out of the house. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm moving all my stuff out of the house. She
What
told
day
me
was that?
maybe February, in the middle of February. So right around our supposedly anniversary is when it happened.
Well, tell me about it.
I asked her for money to give me some kind of repayment on the loan. She told me, okay, here's $200. She wrote me a check.
You have a copy of that check?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see it? Looks like she gave you money pretty regularly. What'd she give you money for pretty regularly?
Mainly to pay the bills.
No, she's got things here for the gas company. Pacific Bell? Here's one for $100 to you. On the bottom it says Janet Stuff. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Mary Caldwell, that's you, another $100. Mary Caldwell, $160. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a plumber.
Work full-time?
Yes.
All right, Miss Caldwell, let me tell you what I think, madam. What I think is that the two of you were living in a relationship as a family. And when the year before you wanted to buy a car, she gave you some money. And when the following year she wanted to buy a car and you had some extra money, you said, I'll put down the down payment, you make the payments, because you weren't working. You were working as a temp. And you were all living as a family. And now that you're not living as a family anymore, you say this was a loan. I don't believe you. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I didn't get to fully explain myself.
Well, I think the judge was fair.
I guess it was my fault because I didn't speak up enough.
And I had to get out of there.
She said she didn't owe me.
Barris and her boyfriend, 62-year-old pest control technician Dennis McGrew, are suing their former friend, 19-year-old construction worker Robert Pasco, for stealing their collection of Pokemon cards.
Order. Come to order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 114 on the calendar in the matter of Barris, McGrew versus Pasco. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Ms. Barris, according to the complaint that I've read, you and your family have known the defendant from the time he was a little boy. And he grew up, he was in need of a job, and you gave him a job as a security person in your business. So far correct?
Yes, ma'am.
While he was acting in his capacity as a security guard, it is your claim that he stole a very valuable collection of Pokemon cards that you had kept in a safe or some sort of safe place in your place of business, and it is your belief that the defendant stole them. So far correct?
So far, so good.
The defendant says he did not do it. So tell me when he came to work for you.
Last summer, Robert came to me and said that his mother had thrown him out and he needed a place to live and a job. And I've done that before with Robert. I've given him jobs before. So I gave him my key to my building and I said, okay, you can sleep.
What kind of building is it?
Pest control. I own a pest control company.
That's incorrect.
Okay. Shh.
Sorry.
We'll get there. Go ahead.
I said, you can stay here at night and you can work during the daytime. We'll give you odd jobs with the handymen or going with the men, etc.
Okay.
And he did that, erratic at best. I called his mother and let her know that he was there. And he became irresponsible. We took the key back.
When did you take it back?
2 to 3 weeks after he first came.
Go ahead.
Several of Robert's friends, I don't remember now if it was 4 or 5 of them, came in one day and they said that we're returning your property. Robert stole your cell phone, a gold watch, and Pokemon collections. He sold the cell phone to us, and he's selling the Pokemon cards in Creekside, which is, Creekside is an apartment building in the back neighborhood.
All right, now you can't tell me what these people said to you, but you can tell me what they did. They came into your place of business with property.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when had that property been stolen?
Probably the day before or 2 days before. The same day we took the key back.
Where was the Pokemon collection kept?
In glass cabinets and in the office.
When did you notice it missing? Immediately?
No, I didn't notice them missing until they came in and told us that he was returning the cell phone and that he had Pokemon collections, the books.
Okay. Did you go over to Creekside?
Mr. McGrew did.
What happened when you got there, Mr. McGrew?
Tried to confront Robert. He ran.
Where did you confront him?
In Creekside Apartments.
Was he in an apartment or was he outside?
No, he was outside.
Did he have anything with him?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
What did you say to him when you approached him?
I asked him for my Pokemon cards.
They were your cards?
Her and I had purchased them together for the 2 kids here and 2 godchildren.
So you went over to Creekside to try to confront Robert. Saw you, you say he ran.
Yes.
But he had nothing with him.
No.
Did you ever get back any of the property?
Some of the Pokemon cards got back through school, through his little brother. He was passing them out.
Whose little brother?
Robert's. He was passing them out. Robert had given him the cards.
You don't know that? You didn't see that. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Did you see that?
I have them.
You have the cards that were given back to you that were in the possession of his younger brother.
Yes.
How old is your younger brother?
8 years old.
Your younger brother didn't have a key to the premises, did he?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, they were cards. I'm not speaking to you.
My mom can verify that, Your Honor. They had given my little brother some cards. My mom can verify that.
Did you ever confront Robert about taking the cards?
Yes, I did.
When?
When I caught him at Creekside Apartments. He admitted...
That same day?
Yes. And he admitted to me at that time that he took them and that there was no way I could prove it.
What did he say?
He said, I took your Pokemon cards and there's no way you can ever prove it.
What did you say to him?
I can't say that here.
Yes, you can.
I told him he's a lion.
You said that he ran from you.
He ran from me.
Tell me about how you approached him.
I pulled up to the street. I told him to get in my truck. He got in my truck. I started to drive. He got out and ran away.
Just a minute. So he didn't run away initially?
Oh, no, because I grabbed him by his arm.
We're not following each other. I'm going to get this story my way. You drove up in your truck to Creekside.
Yes.
Did you get out of your truck?
Yes.
What did you do when you got out of your
He
truck?
walked up and acted like nothing was wrong.
So he
Still
didn't.
a friend.
So he didn't run away initially.
Not until I put him in the truck.
What did you say to him when you got out of your truck?
I confronted him about the Pokemon
What did you
collection.
say to him?
I asked him, where's my Pokemon collection?
And what did he say?
He said he didn't have it.
And what did you say to him?
I told him to get in the truck. We're going to go
And-
back to the shop.
And what did he say to you?
He got in the truck. Then I started to take off, and he jumped out and ran.
And that was what happened on that day. Is that right?
No, I went back to the shop. A friend of mine came back with me to Creekside, found Robert, trapped him upstairs on some steps. He was hiding up behind this big guy, a friend of mine. And we had the police called.
Yes.
Police came, did nothing, took him in on some warrant that he had.
Just a second. When you had him trapped in the stairwell, was there any conversation that you had?
Yeah, he told me that he did it and there was no way I could ever prove it.
Is that when the conversation took place with regard to the Pokemon cards?
Yes,
Did you tell that to the police?
Yes.
When the police came?
yes.
Did they write it down?
They took a report.
Do you have the report?
No, I do not.
Why not?
Because it was never filed. They don't file reports in Simi Valley.
Of course they do. You don't have the police report?
There was never a police report made, Your Honor.
There was a police report,
There was a
Your
police
Honor.
report made, the officer's name.
Why didn't you get a copy of the police report?
They never filed a police report. They have a number 0018796 of
That's
some
a
report.
That's a report. Listen!
Yes.
Police respond, they have to file a report whenever they respond to a location. Do you understand that?
Not in Simi Valley.
Simi Valley is still part of this world.
Not
It's
really.
still part of the
Not
United
really.
States.
Not really.
There's no crime.
We don't have crime in Simi.
Everything's civil.
Your Honor, if I may say,
So.
he did
I'm not
actually...
ready for you yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for you yet. I'm not
I
so
am.
sure you didn't do this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You understand clearly what I'm saying to you.
I understand.
I have very, very good intuition. Very good intuition.
I understand.
Good.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Portia Barberis and Dennis McGrew say former friend 19-year-old Robert Pasco stole their collection of valuable Pokemon cards. Robert says they've got the wrong guy.
Now, how many times have you been arrested?
Few.
How many?
3 or 4.
For what?
Drugs.
Drugs.
Under the influence.
Using or selling?
Using.
Ever been arrested for possession?
No.
Of course, you had to have them in your possession in order to use them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs were in your possession when you were arrested?
I was under the influence of a controlled substance.
What?
Methamphetamine.
Where did you get them?
Friends. Wherever I...
That costs money.
I never...
Listen to me. That costs money.
Sure.
How old were you when you were arrested for the first time?
16.
How old were you when you started to work for them?
17. Between 17 and 18.
How old were you when the Pokemon cards were stolen?
18.
Immediately prior to the Pokemon cards being stolen, when was your last arrest?
When I was 18.
Was it before or after the confrontation with the plaintiffs?
Before.
Before.
Yes.
How much before?
Maybe about 4 or 5 months before.
And what happened with that case?
I was put on probation. Went to jail for 3 days.
And prior to that, were you also placed on probation?
To another charge? No.
One of the 3 or 4 other cases of arrest.
I was placed on probation once, and that was for the drug. That was it.
What happened to the other arrests?
They were just put all together into one.
Oh,
I got charged
you got
with
a
diversion.
forfeit.
I got put on diversion.
You
Your
got a
Honor.
forfeit.
I got put on diversion. I violated it. They reinstated it when I messed up and got the other ticket.
Since July of 2000, have you been arrested?
Yes, I have.
Huh?
Yes, I have.
For what?
Failure to appear.
Failure to appear for what?
Court date.
Don't play
It was
with me.
diversion. I violated my diversion again. I did not finish
How
my
did you
classes.
violate your diversion?
Did not finish my classes.
What about drug screenings?
Never had one dirty test, Your Honor.
So why were you violated?
For not going to my diversion classes. They're drug
Why
meetings.
didn't you go to your diversion classes?
No real excuse. I just didn't have the money at the time to get out there. It was in a different valley.
Well, what are you doing now?
Right now, I'm working.
For whom?
My mom's friend is a construction worker doing concrete.
How long have you been working for them?
Just for about a week and a half.
And before that, what were you doing?
I've had many jobs. I mean,
You can't hold
I
on
worked
to
at
a
a
job
fast
if
food
you're
place.
doing meth. You know
That was before that, Your Honor. I've been clean for quite a few months now.
How many is quite a few months?
4.5 months.
Were these people nice to you?
In the beginning, yes, Your Honor, they were. They opened their arms and they did let me stay in there and they did offer me a job.
And that was at a time when things weren't going so well at home. You were using drugs off and on. You were arrested a lot.
Correct.
Did you need money back in the summer of last year?
No. I just needed food in my stomach and a place to sleep.
Well, you were using some drugs last
Not at the time when I was homeless. When I got kicked out, I just stopped using drugs. I couldn't afford it, Your Honor.
Well,
I was worried
you could
about...
afford it if you sold Pokemon cards.
Never stole those Pokemon cards, Your Honor.
You liar.
For one, Your Honor, I was
Don't
never given a key to stay there. They would never give me that key, Your Honor.
Robert.
They never gave me a key there.
Just a
Robert.
second.
No, you guys never gave me a
Shame
key.
on you.
Just
You
a
had
second.
my key.
Just a second. Did you
Shame on you.
physically... Did you physically give him the key?
Yes, I did.
Tell me when.
When he first came there and said he didn't have any place to stay, I called his mother. She said, okay, I know where he's at. And I gave him my key.
She never gave me your key, Your Honor.
Yes, she did.
No, she did not, Your Honor.
Of course she did.
She didn't trust me enough to give me her key. Okay, one of my friends had stolen that cell phone. When my friend came in there and stole that cell phone,
Your Honor,
he
nobody
had got-
trusts him enough.
Listen, now leave. Leave. Leave.
So the cell phone had been stolen by one of my friends, and I took responsibility for that and told him to go turn it back in because it was my job that was getting...
Just a second. Now we're getting somewhere, Robert. How did you know one of your friends stole the cell phone?
He had told me.
The cell phone was in the office.
Correct.
How did your friend get into the office?
Doors open all the time. They're open 24/7. I was not with him, Your Honor. He had showed me the cell phone. He said, look, I took this from Dennis. I said, well, you got to return it because you're going to get me in trouble. They're going to think I stole it. You got to go return it.
What's his name?
Kevin.
Where does he live?
And see me.
And so you're telling me that this Kevin is the one who stole the cell phone,
Correct.
and because you told him to go return it, he went in and returned the cell phone.
Yeah, it was my roof over my head and the food in my stomach. I wasn't ready to risk that. He was a friend, but not obviously a good one, stealing from my work.
Did you come into some money recently?
Not recently, but it's...
When?
It's supposed to come in, Your Honor.
How much money?
A couple million.
Couple of million.
Correct. For a wrongful death of my father.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time you lived with your father?
I never lived with my father.
I would assume that that's one of the reasons why you've pursued this.
I didn't know about
2 days after my mom had called her and told her about my father dying, she decided to file a lawsuit because she knew I was getting some money. I had seen Dennis in the pawn shop. He confronted me. He said, started saying all these words to me, bad words. I hope you die exactly how your father died. If not, I would do it myself, but I want my money. It's exactly what he said.
Your Honor, did the boys get to speak?
About what?
About getting the cards back from Austin and the time that I saw Patty in the parking lot and I reached into her front seat and picked up a $500 card that belonged to this collection.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
that's
well, I'd like to know when that happened. Patty is his mother.
Yes.
Okay, let me hear.
She pulled up to the parking lot when I was picking the kids up from school, and I went over to her and I said, it's probably not a good idea, because I had gone to the principal about 3 weeks after this whole thing happened, and I says, it's not a good idea for Austin to be bringing these Pokemon cards to school and are giving them to friends. These are some valuable cards. And I opened the door and I was talking to her and I reached on the seat and I picked up a Blastoid, first edition Blastoid, Japanese. And I says, there's one of them right there. And she said, well, take it if it belongs to you. I said, it's about a $500 card. And I says, no, you keep it because when the police get around to getting there, you'll still have it and you'll present it to them. She says, well, I still have all the rest of them on the shelf at home. And then she called me and said that she found them in a dumpster. That they had found all of these Pokemons, all these valuable Pokemons. I mean, we're talking $5,000 right there in what we retrieved in the dumpster. So I immediately went to the dumpster. There was a lot of trash there, but there was not one card, not one piece of plastic, not one shred of all of these thousands of dollars worth of Pokemon that
I
my
believe
collection.
You. Listen to me.
Okay.
I believe you.
Okay. Thank you.
How does that tie into him?
She has him in her car.
She says they found him in a dumpster.
Oh,
Do I believe
that was
her?
weeks later.
Do I believe
I know
her?
You don't believe her. I didn't believe it either.
No.
You haven't heard the truth yet. I don't have a car, first off. I have a truck. She couldn't even see into my truck to see on my seat. She's not tall enough.
Open the door.
Oh, you opened my door now. Okay.
Hey, we have the cards with his name on them.
With whose name on them?
His name. This is his collection. The cards that were stolen are in his possession now with the values on them and his name on them.
Yes.
He has those.
Where did
you
you
got
get
them from Robert's little brother?
I understand that. There has to be a nexus between Robert's little brother.
The little brother said Big Brother gave him to him.
listen to me. That's hearsay. Now, if you were in a criminal court and the little brother were here or in the courthouse so that a judge could say to the little brother, where did you get those cards from? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I understand, and I understand the little niche in the law there.
It's not a niche in the law.
It's going to help him be found not guilty so that six little kids have lost their Pokemon collection.
They've lost it anyway.
That's true.
They've lost it anyway.
But at least they have got justice if you decide that he did
I'm
this.
telling you, I told you that he did it.
I agree.
I believe he did it.
But it doesn't
In
mean
order for
justice
me,
is going to be served
you're
here.
you're absolutely right. Robert, I want to tell you something. There's a piece of me, sir, that says that you are either personally involved or know how it came about that this valuable card collection was stolen. This is a card collection that has probably been in the same location for a very long time. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
It just so happens coincidentally that some meth freak who they gave a break to was living in the back room at a time when the Pokemon cards disappeared. Now, I don't believe him that you confessed.
No.
I don't believe him that you confessed. I believe you did it. I would love to be able to make a legal finding that you did it, but I don't believe you confessed. I just want you to understand me. I believe you did it, but I don't believe you confessed to him. He's a hothead. He thought that that would make a very good part of the case because he was told by the police in Simi Valley, that's still part of this universe I'm speaking, that without a confession you'd have no case. So I believe that he made that up. But I think you did it. I can't make a judgment, but I think you did it. Only you know whether you did it or not.
I know.
Oh, I know.
I know I didn't.
Oh, I know you did. I feel it, but that's not what courts are about. Now, the fact that the mother makes up some cock and bull story that they came from a dumpster, right?
Good one, huh?
It's a good one. It's a good one.
You haven't heard from me. You haven't heard from me what the story is. You've heard from her.
All I want to know, well, you want to tell me that your son told you that his older brother gave him the cards?
My son can tell you because my son was with me, calling me at school.
I don't want to
tell
call
you.
him. I wasn't to me.
Tell you.
I don't
He was
wanna...
with me when we found him.
She had given him cards.
And I don't know that they were her cards. They were in baggies, a bunch of them. I don't know that they were hers. I called her immediately when I found them.
Stole the cards. Isn't a question in my mind. He knows it, I know it, and he knows that I know it, but she can't prove it. So, live with it.
Why didn't she
Case
come to
is
my house
dismissed.
and get them?
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I understand Judge Judy's position. Her hands are tied.
You know, Justin proves itself. I didn't do it.
Like she said, she knows he did it. He knows he did it.
You know, I told the truth.
He's lying through his teeth.
And I had nothing to do with it.
I don't believe my son did take them.
I have folders of my initials on them. He was stupid enough to leave my initials on them.
If I'd have known about the cards getting stolen, if my friend had done it, if anybody had done it, I'd have told him.
Give me a break.
He assaulted me before, he hit me. He can say all he wants to say about my dead dad. It doesn't bother me.
For medical bills resulting from an assault. Marianne is countersuing for her medical bills.
Come to order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 149 on the calendar in the matter of Haywood versus Wigner. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Miss Haywood, you live in a condominium complex.
Yes.
The defendant lives there as well. She is head of the homeowners association.
No, that's not correct.
What are you in charge of?
I'm not now, but during the incident I was a property manager.
Okay, but you also live there.
Yes.
And it is your claim that the defendant instigated an assault for which you were arrested. You want to be reimbursed for all of your medical bills, for your lost wages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The defendant says that you were actually the aggressor in this assault, and she is counterclaiming. Now, the problem that developed between the two of you had to do with trash.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a trial with regard to this assault. Mm-hmm. You were the complainant.
Yes.
And that case was dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Okay, I was in my living room playing Nintendo with my son and my nieces,
And all of a sudden, I just heard a bang, and I looked, and it was trash on my door. And basically, I knew it was Mary Ann because a week before, she had told me, you know how they deliver the city trash cans?
No, I don't know how they deliver city trash cans.
Well, they deliver the city everybody has them now, the city trash dumpsters. Well, they had delivered them, and I used my trash can, so she put a note on my door saying...
She told you, don't use the trash cans, use the dumpster.
Yes, ma'am.
And you put your trash in the trash can.
Yes.
So that you heard a thud outside and you saw your trash where?
On my front porch against my door.
Okay. Did you see who put it there?
Well, actually, I saw her walking away. I didn't see her put it there. I saw her walking away from there, the only person.
So you assumed it was her. So what did you do?
Well, I went to the door to see who put it there. I saw her walking up. And so I went, I put on shoes, I wasn't dressed, I had on a gown, so I went and threw on some sweatpants and a shirt, and actually I went out, put it back on her porch.
And how far is her porch from your porch?
It's probably like 8 feet. I stood at the stairs and I kind of tossed it back on her porch.
So you didn't go up on her porch, you took the trash and you threw it on her porch.
I tossed it, yeah, just like she did mine, but she wasn't in there.
You didn't see her throw the trash on your
Well, she admits it.
Shh. I want you to try answering my questions.
Okay.
You didn't see her put the trash on your porch.
No, I did not.
You came out, saw the trash on your porch, and flung it on her porch.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened next?
So then I went back into my house, and it came flying back against my door again.
You didn't see who it was?
No, I saw it was her.
And what did you do next?
Basically,
now you got your garbage on your porch.
It was tit for tat. I mean, in actuality.
I asked you what you did next.
I went and I threw it back on hers again.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just a second. And what happened next?
She came out and pepper sprayed me, and the gardener was a witness to that.
So she came out, and she sprayed you in the face?
Yes.
What happened next?
So then when she sprayed me, it's like it got into, because I actually was turning, when she opened her door, I was turning to go back to my apartment. So when I turned to go back to my apartment, when it got in my eye, when I turned back around, when I heard her door open, I turned around, and so it got me right here in this eye. So in actuality, I held my eye, and I went to grab her can from her because she was walking towards me spraying. So I went to grab the can of pepper spray from her, and then we struggled over it. Like, you know, trying to get it away from each other because I was going to spray her back, to be honest with you, because she sprayed me.
Okay, go ahead.
So then as we struggled over it, she hit me because it wasn't getting loose. I hit her, and we hit each other, and we struggled over this can. And basically with one hand on the can and one hand, like, striking each other.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just not going to get to you in a minute. Go ahead.
Then we ended up over a fence where Mr. had came down, and he grabbed me from behind and choked me and dragged me back. And at that time, Mary Ann came with a rake, and I grabbed, and while he's choking me, and I'm on the ground. He's a director of the condominium, one of the directors. He owns the apartment or condo above Mary Ann.
So he saw the scuffle, evidently, and went out and restrained you, and she went and got a rake. Is that what you just said?
Well, he didn't see it. Well, he was upstairs, and then he came down. And so, yes, and then she grabbed a rake from the gardener.
Yes.
And came at me with it, and it's like as I'm trying to pry his hands away from me, I'm on my knees. I reached up when she came at me. You know, I saw through my peripheral vision a person approaching me, so I just reached up at the time she came at me with it, and I grabbed it from her.
And
then I tried to get Mr. off because I mean I'm asthmatic and I couldn't breathe, so I'm trying to get him off of me. Then he starts letting go of me as I'm standing up, catching my breath, because it took a few seconds before I could catch my breath. He, like, I guess to grab the rake back from me, he stepped towards me, and I hit him with the rake. I swung the rake. It hit him in his head, and I dropped the rake, and I walked into my house, and I called 911.
You were, in fact, convicted of assaulting Mr.
I was found guilty.
You were found guilty. You were convicted.
Yes.
Of assaulting Mr.
With a lesser battery, yes.
But acquitted after a trial with regard to the defendant.
Yeah, they dropped charges against me for her.
All right, so now you tell me your version of what happened.
Could I go back a little bit deeper than that?
To when?
October of 1999?
No. Stay with this. If there was bad blood between the two of you, that's not relevant.
It kind of sets the scene, but anyway, 14 cans were delivered in the parking lot along the edge of the back into the parking lot real close to one of the units. The only reason they were delivered there was because we were going to do an enclosure out where the dumpster is on the street and then move the 14 cans out there. So it was like a temporary layover. So I delivered a notice to all units and let them know that until further notice, please use the dumpster. So a few days later, there's 2 cans that are full of trash. Well, actually, one was full of trash. It was unit number 9. It had the numbers on each one of the cans.
What unit are you in?
That's not true.
Just answer my question.
I'm unit number 9.
You're number 9?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
And I delivered a notice to both unit number 9 and 11 and reiterated the fact that we have a dumpster and you don't use the trash cans. And please take the trash out of there and put it in the dumpster. Number 11 came to me and she said, I'm so sorry. She said, I debated whether I should do that or not. And the next thing I know, I get this back on my door. They shouldn't be there then. You empty them yourself and kiss my crazy, which was typical of the conversations I would have with Paula over parking issues.
Just a second. Shh. Why did you write her this nasty note?
Well, I didn't. In actuality,
why did you write her this nasty note?
I did not write that exact what it says. I mean, and basically that is copied on there. I mean, because I saw that when I went to trial. I did say that they shouldn't be there, but I did not say the B word. I mean, I didn't call her in actuality.
No, you wrote this down.
No, I wrote that you're crazy. The crazy part, but I did not write.
Yeah, you wrote a nasty note.
Oh no,
you were crazy.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
you wrote crazy. Told it empty.
Did you know why?
I'm speaking.
Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Paula Haywood says neighbor Marianne Wigner pepper sprayed her during an argument over garbage cans. Marianne claims Paula instigated the fight.
Can I ask you a question? Put it down.
Okay.
What's the difference if the condominium where you're living says, please don't use the trash cans, please use the dumpster? What's the skin off your nose in taking your trash and putting it in the dumpster?
Okay, I have pictures. It was in evidence, but basically, and she gave me a note. She has a note that says, you know, the dumpsters are overloaded. We're going to be getting a lock or something because we think other people are using our dumpsters. And, you know, don't put your trash on the ground outside of the dumpster.
So, madam,
so there was
talking
nowhere
about
else.
being civilized. So if you get this note and if the dumpster is full, why don't you say, listen, I got the note and I'd be more than happy to comply, but they're full, so I have to use the cans.
She had never gave me that. I do my job. I was working from 8 to 8, doing caregiving for a handicapped child. And I lost my job, making $100 a night, but I never received that letter. She put that on my door, actually, when she threw the trash back the second time. That was attached to the trash can.
I don't know if I believe you. I think that you copped an attitude. That doesn't mean you're entitled to get sprayed with pepper spray. I'm not there yet, but I believe you copped an attitude. Now, you find the trash on your door. Who threw the trash on her porch?
Bob actually put the bag on her porch and said, please take this trash out to the dumpster where it belongs.
Why would Mr. take the trash and put it on her porch? I mean, that's sort of an aggressive act to take it and toss it on her porch.
I didn't expect him to do that. What happened was that there were previous confrontations with Paula Haywood over parking incidents, and I was attacked by her in my home. She came in my home, she tore the phone off my wall, she jabbed at me, and she socked me in the eye. And then her mother, before the police came out, her mother did the same thing. She walked right in my home. I'm getting ready to pack.
So why, those are the things you want to talk about from before.
Yeah, right. So,
so you're not happy with these people as tenants.
Right, and I've had other...
Now, after she took the trash and tossed it on your porch,
yes,
what did you do?
I didn't throw it. I put it down in front of her door, and then I walked away.
Go ahead. What happened next?
Then I was with the maintenance man in front of my unit, and I was helping him pick up some weeds and some trash and things. The next thing I know, I felt something behind me. I had previous to that, picked up some pepper spray because of my previous incidents with her. And so I had the pepper spray in my hand. I heard something, and I turned around, and she has this bag that I had already inspected. In fact, here's the pictures. It has that it was her bag. There were 3 jugs of glass in there. So when I saw her hurling it and it was about ready to come down on me, I pushed the spray. I didn't really know how to use the pepper spray, but I sprayed it. It hit her in the chin. I did see that. It didn't hit her in the eye. It hit her in the chin. The next thing I know, all hell broke loose, and she grabbed a hold of me in the back of my hair. She threw me over the 3-foot iron railing, and she took that can out of my hand, and she beat me. I've got pictures here of what she did to me. I've got bruises on my ribs, my eyes, and my forehead.
Your Honor.
Just a minute. You told your story.
Please get a chance.
Did you see these photographs?
And yes, I did.
Just answer my
question.
question.
Yes, I did.
You have seen these pretty serious.
Yes, I saw them.
These are pretty serious.
Okay, can I please say something, Your Honor?
Just a second.
Okay.
I'm speaking. What were you doing yard work holding pepper spray?
Because of some previous incidents with...
You mean you walk around all the time with pepper spray?
I do now, since she came in my home.
You
and
walk
attacked
around
me.
all the time carrying pepper spray?
Not all the time. Just if I'm outside doing some work and the parking situation, especially on the weekend, gets pretty bad. And she's not the only one that retaliates. There's 4 of them, and I'm by myself. And these 4 people lash out quite a bit. No one has ever attacked me, though, except for Paula and her mother.
Do you have any photographs of your injuries?
No, let me tell you this. First of all, I'm dark skinned. I did admit I hit her. And no, I did not bruise. She said she hit me, we fought. Yes,
I didn't say. I just asked you
a question. Oh, no, I don't, because you know why I don't bruise.
The answer is...
No, I mean, I
don't. You don't have any
I do have a medical record.
Then I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a medical record.
Okay. And then...
All right, so you went and took x-rays, and the x-rays were normal. Is that right?
It says it was a reversal of and that means I had a sprain. And I wore a hard neck brace for 7 days, and then I had to go back, and I wore a soft one for 7 days.
Now, Miss Haywood, when you saw the trash that she had put back on your porch, and you see her walking.
I saw her throw it. I mean, I was out the window.
Just answer my question.
Okay,
You're not going to think faster than I am. I guarantee it, madam. You started this whole problem because you didn't follow the rules.
Her rules?
I'm making that judgment. There were 14 units, and you have the problem. That doesn't mean that you are responsible for your getting sprayed in the face, but I have to find out, when you saw the trash that she admits she put back on your porch, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Did you walk down the steps with the trash?
No, it's up the steps. I went up the steps.
You had to walk up?
No, it's like 3 steps. I mean, they're not...
A step is a step. Do you have to walk down the steps to get to where she was, or did you have to walk up the steps to get to where she was?
Both.
I have 3 steps down, then 3 steps up. Okay. And then her door is like 6 feet or 6 feet from the step I threw the bag from while she was inside.
Where was she when you tossed it?
She was inside her house because she came out, the door flew open, I turned around, she sprayed me.
Now, you were doing work with the gardener?
Yes.
You were working with him outside?
Yes.
Don't you think he would have been a good witness here?
Yes. He was let go because of his slowness and independent. He wasn't dependable.
Did he testify at the criminal trial?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He did?
He testified, and I have all the tapes.
Can you see if you can find that on the tape?
¿Qué pasó? Cuando yo miré, Marian salió de la puerta. When I saw Marian coming out of the door, they were orally saying things to one another. They were arguing. Did you see how the fight started? ¿Usted cómo empezó la pelea? No, porque cuando ellas estaban... Cuando Marian salió de la puerta, ella también. No, because when Marian came out of the door, yo me volteé. I turned around.
The witness clearly says that he saw you, Miss Wagner, coming out the door.
I was at my door because it's right there in the same general area that the yard is.
I understand that, but he clearly said he saw you coming out the door, which means that you weren't out doing yard work. I have to believe one version or the other, and it seems much more logical to me that you saw the trash being thrown on your door, you ran and you got your pepper spray, and you came out your door, and you sprayed her with it. I say that because if you're outside doing yard work, it means you're working with both your hands, sort of cumbersome to walk around holding a can of pepper spray. In any event, you tell me, Miss Haywood, what you believe your damages were as a result of this unfortunate incident.
I lost my job. I've lost wages. I have a note for my job.
How did you lose your job?
Okay, at the time that I did this happen, I was making, I have it right here, I was making $100 a night.
Just a second. How did you lose your job
because if she never would have initiated, I was not found guilty. I was found not guilty, or there was charges dropped against Mary Ann. So she was the initiator. None of this would have ever took place, ma'am.
So, just a second. Is your claim here that because you were convicted of one assault, that is with regard to Mr. and that conviction would never have taken place but for the fact that she started this altercation with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your cause of action here?
Yes, ma'am. And
sorry. You were not incarcerated because of her. You didn't lose your jobs because of her. You overreacted with regard to Mr. You hit him with a rake that they probably considered a dangerous instrument. And you were convicted with regard to that.
I mean, because of the fact this woman her actions caused all this to take place. Because I even have it where he choked me, and I have the testimony.
Let me explain something to you.
Okay, I don't know.
The money that you lost.
She did the wrong thing. She should not have come out her door and sprayed you with the pepper spray. But that doesn't mean that you can sue her because you got into an altercation and then you assaulted somebody else. So your case, Miss Haywood, is dismissed, as is your counterclaim, Miss Wagner. You sprayed her with the pepper spray. She reacted, you got injured, but you were the aggressor with the pepper spray. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I do think it was unfair because I never had a criminal record ever in my life.
You can't talk to her. You can't even say hi to her without her saying some obscene sentence.
It was just humiliating. I didn't get to talk to my child for 6 days. I wasn't calling him from jail.
Victims, watch out.
Kevin Warren for the repair cost of a car and lost wages.
Okay, Miss Cosby. According to your complaint, you parked your car near your home on a side street. You came out the next day and you found your car vandalized. Mm-hmm. Car was a 2017 Hyundai Elantra.
Correct.
Did you buy the car new or used?
Used.
And how much did you pay for the car?
I put a down payment of $1,350, I believe, $1,350.
So you financed the whole thing?
Yes.
And you have to have insurance on your car. You have to have liability, collision, all that other good stuff because you have a loan.
Right.
And you did have insurance. Mm-hmm. Now, came out, you looked at your car and it was vandalized. What was wrong with it?
The back window was shattered, and along the side passenger top quarter panel, back passenger door, and the passenger mirror, it was shot.
You have photographs of it?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Right here.
Okay. Did you notify your insurance company?
I did.
On what date?
That right here.
I'd like to take a look at it, please.
And
okay, nothing with nothing. Okay, so you told the police about it on the 22nd.
Yes.
And when did you bring it in for the defendant to take a look at it?
That was August 18th.
She brought the car into you in August?
Yes.
And how long have you been in the auto repair business?
16 years.
So you've dealt with insurance adjusters before?
Yes.
And did you make the appointment for the insurance adjuster to come and look at the car?
They never came to look at it. Sometimes they just have me submit photos if they don't have anyone in the field to come look at the vehicle.
Okay. Now, when the plaintiff came in and brought you the car, did you have a discussion with her?
Yes, I did.
And I want you to tell me the best of your record.
And she told me she took it from another shop. She had a problem with another shop getting the repairs done.
Tell me what kind of problem you had with another shop.
It was no problems with the other shops besides they didn't want to do the estimate on it and told me to talk to my insurance about it. And my insurance told me to find my own shop. And that's when I found it.
Just a second. Did your insurance company send you to the first shop that you went to?
Yes.
And for some reason, that first body shop was unsatisfactory to you. Mm-hmm. So you took it to the defendant. This is what the story is. The story is the defendant still has your car, right? Mm-hmm. And he's keeping your car because he says you didn't pay for the repairs. It's your position that you gave him the entire check from the insurance company. Is that your position? Speak. Be very careful what you tell me.
This is how her car looked when she brought it to me.
Oh, Miss Cosby, I have a feeling that you're not going to like the outcome of...
Shalea Cosby claims mechanic Kevin Warren owes for the repair cost of a car and lost
the check receipt that you received from the insurance company. Look, we're going to have trouble with each other, madam. Do you understand? This isn't the only check you got from the insurance company.
If you're talking about a check in 2020, that has no relevance to 2022 vandalism check.
I want to know how much you received from the insurance company.
$874.53.
Then can you tell me, I had a check from the insurance company, which was a little over $1,300 from their appraisal.
No, that's incorrect.
Well, that's what you wrote, madam. That's what you wrote. That's your signature. That's what you wrote.
I see the paper. The totaling was $1,374.53. I didn't receive a full $1,374.53 check from my...
Warren, tell me what the conversation was.
Before I got to him, I let him know what was going on, what I was going through.
No, not let him know. I asked you what you said to him and what he said to you. First of all, you didn't like the first place that the insurance company sent you to. I don't know why. All I know is when you're dealing with this kind of thing, everybody's trying to make a little bit extra. And it's been my experience, and maybe I'm wrong, that when you have a little accident, you take your car into a body shop. Very often, if that's their business, they say, this is what you want fixed, this is what the damage was. And the person who runs the body shop or the owner of the body shop will say to you, I'll take whatever the insurance is, I'll work with the adjuster. Mm-hmm. That's what they usually do. Correct, sir?
Yes.
Yes. And in this case, is that what happened?
No.
Is what I'm asking you, because your complaint is that he has your car, won't give it back because he's put a mechanic's lien on it because he says that he did $6,000 worth of work on the car.
He did work that was not approved by me nor my insurance.
I'm just telling you, that's what he says. He did $6,000 worth of work on the car.
Okay.
Okay? But I have to tell you, Mr. Warren, that has been my company, and we all know what that means. That means that whatever your insurance company gives you, they'll send me the check. That will be what I'm going to accept for the work. Now, what you're suggesting is that she authorized you to do $6,000 worth of work, and you didn't speak to the insurance company.
I spoke with them plenty of times.
Oh, what did they tell you that they were sending her?
I have it here.
I'd like to see it.
I have 3 estimates here.
No, I want to see from the insurance company.
They're the insurance company estimates, not mine.
I'd like to see it.
Okay, here's the first one. Like she said, when she first brought her car to me, she had this one already for $873. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then what we do when we see more damage, we put what you call a supplement in. So I put a supplement in, and that's when they told me she has 2 claims. She has a claim for a different claim number.
May I see it, please?
That she put the claim in for. Mm-hmm. So these other 2 are for the auto body portion.
Not for the vandalism?
No, it's 2 different claims.
When she brought you the car, was there body damage on the car?
Absolutely. This is how the car looked when she brought this to me.
I'm not just talking about that. Can I see, please?
This is how her car looked when she brought it to me.
Oh, Miss Cosby, I have a feeling that you're not going to like the outcome of this.
Oh, no, I'm legit all the way around.
Oh,
so
really?
And those are the afterwards
Just
pictures.
a second. Just a second. This car was in a bad accident.
Yes, correct.
This car was in a bad accident. Hey, this car was in a bad accident shortly after you got it.
Correct.
Right. And you got a check from the insurance company to fix this.
Correct.
How much was the check that you got from the insurance company to fix this?
The total in amount, I'm not sure, but I think it was like 2001 or 2002.
And you didn't have it fixed.
No one wanted to fix it.
Well, he fixed it. Just a second. Hey, Miss Cosby, he fixed it.
Without my approval.
What did you do with the $2,000?
Oh, I paid my own personal bills because no one wanted to fix the car, so I have to keep living.
Your case is dismissed.
Okay.
How's that? I actually think you're a hustler. That's why I'm not helping you.
That's fine.
Because you had an accident in 2020, you got a check from the insurance company to fix it. I don't know how much that check was because you don't have a copy of that check. You brought the car into him and said, now I have a broken back window. I have a feeling, and I know it's only a feeling, but this is my program, so I can vent that feeling, that you went to the first place to fix the car and you said to them, I want you to fix the front and the back, and they said no. That was for something else. You already got paid for that.
Incorrect.
So you went to him.
Estimate altogether.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
You don't have to.
I don't. Well, I don't. I don't
have to.
That's why your case is dismissed.
That's fine.
Now I'm getting to your counterclaim. Because you put a mechanic's lien on the car?
Yes, I have it here.
Great. So you've got a mechanic's lien on it. She can't sell it. I'm not giving it back to her. From whom?
From her. Or you can sign it just to set.
Oh, I can't.
To turn over.
Oh.
This says she has no more interest in the car.
I can't. She does have an interest. The car's got a lien on it, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay? You're going to have to pay off this note. Do you understand? I don't think you're going to be able to get the money after you pay off the note. But you fixed the car.
Absolutely.
And I think that you're entitled to money for fixing the car on your counterclaim. She's going to pay on your counterclaim because I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to get any money on this car. I don't know what's going to happen with this car. I'm just not returning it to her. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make you as close to whole as you can be because I think what happened to you was a hustle. That's what I think. Usually I don't side with mechanics. It's just been my experience. But I think that...
I'm glad you changed today.
I think that this is a hustle. $3,800, judgment for the defendant on the counterclaim. Thank you very much. We're done.
Oh, I appreciate her decision. I believe she needed to help her get her car fixed and that she was going to get the insurance and pay me like she was supposed to do. But I guess once she got the money, she changed her mind. All mechanics aren't bad.
That was a surprise.
That was.
For me.
Did not think it was going to go that way when we reviewed it earlier.
When we talked about it, I looked at it. When we spoke about it, I said, you know, sort of using my life's history. Take the car in, don't worry, I'll work with the insurance company, does a little bit more work. The insurance company sends a check for a little less. But he wasn't at fault. She was the hustler.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to make an extra quick buck like a lot of mechanics that we've seen. He did the work.
He did the work. Because she didn't bring the car in there just for the back windshield.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hustle.
It seemed that way. As soon as somebody says, oh, that thing from then has nothing to do with why we're here now, immediate red flag.
Bing,
bing. Yeah.
Archuleta for the balance of an RV and an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 2096, Martinez versus Archuleta.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, each of you was suing each other for the hefty sum of $10,000. Ms. Martinez, you say you were like a cousin to one of these defendants. Which one?
Tina.
That would be you.
That'd be me.
And your name is?
Felicia Archuleta.
You live together?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
It is your claim that Tina purchased from you an old RV for $1,000, that she currently has possession of the RV, that she has not paid for the RV, and that when you went to their home to collect the money for the RV, that one of them assaulted you.
Both of them.
The defendants say that the original purchase price, which was $1,000, was reduced because the RV was not running. They paid you the $200. Did you give her the $200?
I did.
You did? And that was the day that you took the RV?
No.
When?
That wasn't the day after. I already had it.
Did you ever get $200 from the defendants?
No, I didn't. I received $160 from Tina.
Okay, so let's get back to the RV. How long did you have the RV? And it was just sitting on your property, is that right?
Right.
How long have you had it?
I've had the RV for about 6 years.
What did you do with it? Did you travel with it?
I lived in it for about 2 months, and then I parked it. And
so it was running?
Yes.
But at the time you wanted to get rid of it, it wasn't running?
No.
Did you know what was wrong with it?
Yes, the fuel pump was going bad in it, so we had to replace that.
But it didn't start. They had to have it towed.
Right.
Tina towed it.
Right.
Back to their property.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so when they took it, the agreement was that they were to pay you how much?
$1,000.
And you acknowledged that you were supposed to pay $1,000. Is that correct? At the time that they took the RV and had it towed, they gave you no money.
They gave me no
money. Subsequently, they gave you $160.
Correct.
According to you. And tell me under what circumstances they gave you the $160. Tina did.
I went over to their house and they gave me the money in hand.
Okay, and what did you give them?
Well, they had the RV given, the title given to them the day that they took the RV.
And then $160. Mm-hmm. Did she ever give you any other money?
No.
Now, when did you go over, according to you, to the property to get the rest of the money? And tell me what happened. What date?
It was August 27th in the evening. I called Tina and told her I was on my way. I went over to her property and
You drove?
I drove my car to her property, and Felicia was outside loading the car.
That's Felicia.
Correct.
That's you.
And so I asked her, where's Tina? She says, she is inside. I said, well, I'm here to get my money. And Tina tells me, no, you're not getting nothing. I told you you're going to get it when I have it. I said, no, that is not the deal. I want all my money or I'm taking the RV. Now, I have text messages that show that about the RV, about her saying, well, if it's going to be such a problem, you come and pick up the RV and your title. You know, I'm coming to have it picked up tonight. You need to make sure that, you know, not to touch it. And I'm going
Who was living in the RV at the time?
I had my friends in there that would help me try to get it started.
So friends of yours were living in the RV. Okay.
And she told me.
Go ahead.
Okay, and so I told her that I was going to throw them out because she has not paid me for my RV. And then in the text, she also replies that, well, if I wanted to be grimy, I got the title and I could go ahead and keep it. And I do have proof of that.
I would like to see those texts.
Here's those ones.
Well, you acknowledge in the text back and forth that you owe her $800.
Yeah, I never said I didn't. The thing is,
okay,
can I tell you one thing?
All I'm asking is you acknowledge that you owe her $800. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I told Tina I'm done with it all. I'm going to make sure that I have someone pick up the RV tonight. And she got upset, screamed, no, you're not. It's a done deal. No, it's not. And I said,
Erica Martinez claims her cousin, Tina Archuleta, and her wife, Felicia Archuleta, owe for the balance of an RV. Tina and Felicia are countersuing for slander and an assault.
Okay, so I have $800 balance for the RV. Now, you want to tell me about this alleged assault, which, according to you, is worth another $9,000?
Well, yes. Well, as I was speaking with Tina about it after that, me and her were going back and forth. And we were yelling at each other, and then her wife got involved, and I told her, you need to stay out of it. And then I told Tina, I'm done with it all. You know, I'm going back. I'm going to make sure that I said, yes, I am. I'm getting my RV tonight. And then I turned around, went into my car. Felicia says, you ain't getting spit on me from the passenger side. And Tina runs up and punched me in my face, and my glasses flew this way. And that's when I told her, that's it, she's in trouble now. And so that's.
Do you have a police report on that?
I do.
On photographs? Do you have any medical record?
I do got the medical records. They're right here.
Okay, this is standard fare. It doesn't give me.
It shows that I did go to the doctors 2 days after because I was having migraines.
That's why I'm not understanding it, because it doesn't make sense. Mm. Okay. Do you have photographs of your alleged injury to your face?
No,
Day of this injury, you had a headache. 2 days later, you went to the hospital. So this is useless to me. You don't have photos of your injury, and you don't have a police report. Is that what you're telling me?
I do have the police number for it, but I don't have the report on me.
Well, no. Okay. So far, they owe you $800. Now you have a counterclaim, because you acknowledge you owed her $800. You have a counterclaim for harassment, slander, and assault. Who are you alleging the plaintiff assaulted?
Can I
Who are you?
Back to something?
No. Who are you alleging the plaintiff assaulted? That would be you. That's Felicia. How did the plaintiff assault you?
She ran me over.
She tried to run her over.
She tried to run me over.
Well, there's a difference between running you over and trying to run you over. Did she run you over, or did she attempt to run you over?
She attempted to run me over.
Okay. So that at best would be an attempted assault.
Yes.
So you suffered no injuries?
No.
Okay. Do you have any police report?
I do, Your Honor.
Indicating that you told the police on that date that she attempted to run you over?
This is the one where it says where she tried to run my wife over.
Okay, I'd like to see it, please.
This is the original.
No, I don't. That's all I want. Because I was leaving and she was behind us, still arguing. So she put it in gear and tried to hit my wife. Is that what you're talking about? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you suffer any injuries?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Okay. So this case is a very simple one.
And then, Your Honor,
Tina, the case is a very simple one. You owe her $800 for the balance of the RV, which you acknowledge in your text. But the only other part that you have is for slander. Now, you say that in your cross complaint, the plaintiff has slandered you. I'd like to see the evidence that you have that she has slandered you. May I see it, please?
I need to show her she wanted the dog.
This isn't slander. I mean, she calls you nasty names, but sticks and stones, and she says they...
Because originally, the first thing before even doing any of this, she wanted a puppy. And that's where all this title and everything came in.
I read that.
She wanted a puppy.
I read that, and then she changed her mind.
Yeah, and that's where we got the title.
I don't care. You owe her $800. You acknowledge in your text messages.
Try to keep your peace.
Listen to me. I don't care. You acknowledge that you owed her $800, the balance of the $1,000 for the RV. She came to try to get it. There was an argument, and it got nasty. You owe her, Tina, the $800 that you agreed to pay her, the balance of the RV. Judgment for the plaintiff. Counterclaims dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm very happy with it. She wanted a dog. That's why she gave me the title.
She had asked me if I wanted a puppy, but she said that she'd make a deal with me and only charged me $1,200, which she changed her words and it was $1,500, so I did not get the puppy.
I tried to keep the peace and say, oh, okay, I'll pay you after she changed her mind.
She's a good liar.
She's just a liar. I don't care. She needs money more than I do.
I honestly think it's ridiculous. We should never have to come to this, because she ain't family.
It's all good.
No more family, for sure.
Something of value to have it in writing. People assume with strangers, oh, of course I should have a writing when I'm selling something. But when it's to a friend or a family member, that gift and loan line are very close together, and a writing proves to this court very easily which one of the two it is. So I think that that's a great takeaway from cases like these.
It is. It's a great takeaway. I've always said that when you apply for a marriage license, usually you just have to show your citizenship, date of birth, but I actually think that a marriage license should include all the property that you claim is separate property.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be easy? It would do away with probably 30% or 40% of the divorce proceedings that become acrimonious because you sort of lay it out. So I think that really writing is always important because at the time, you're usually happy with each other. At the time that you're contesting that sale, you're not so happy. So if you have a writing or if you have a license.
Damage after his car was vandalized.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 2151, Martin versus Morale.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Martin, you and the defendant are neighbors.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been neighbors?
Moved into the subdivision in 2019.
That's how long you've been there?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how long the defendant has been there?
I think 2014.
Is that right?
2017, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
And where do you live in respect to one another? You want to go over there and show me?
I live in this house right here. Or I did. I don't anymore. This house right here. And she lives right here.
You sold your house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the defendant
She lives right here.
Where the blue car is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. That's sort of a circular area, and from the circular area, you pull into your driveway. Is that right? Okay. It is your claim that the defendant keyed your car.
Yes, ma'am.
And when did this happen?
January 22nd, 2022.
The defendant says that she did not key your car. She has a counterclaim. She claims that she was falsely arrested and held overnight in jail.
That is a lie.
But just a okay. That's her claim, that she was falsely arrested, that she spent a night in jail. She had to hire a lawyer, did hire a lawyer after her lawyer requested several adjournments. You were not, at least physically, in the courtroom at the time of the last adjournment, and the case was dismissed. So let's go back to prior to January 22nd. I assume that if you're alleging that the defendant keyed your car, that you have some negative history with each other.
Yes, ma'am.
Starting when?
There are so many. I mean, it started out when we moved in the subdivision. They were nice at the beginning. no issues. And then the kids started having, her granddaughter lives with her.
Okay, how old's your granddaughter?
She's 9 now. She was 8.
Okay.
They started having some issues, as kids do. I mean, that happens.
You have a child of a similar age?
Yes, ma'am. She's 11 now. She was 9 or 10 when
Okay.
we lived there.
And the 2 children had an issue?
I mean, kids argue.
Between the 2 children spill over to the neighbors.
Well, I guess the final straw was Labor Day weekend of 21, the Sunday before the Labor Day. We came home late. It was about 7 o'clock. We were working, and we told Jillian we were going home for a little bit, and she said, I want to swim in the pool. So, all right.
Jillian is your 10-year-old?
Yes. And, of course, she said, well, that's boring, Daddy. I want a friend to swim with me. So I said, okay, one friend. That's it, because your brother's going to watch you, and then we're leaving to go back to work. So she goes next door to Patrick's house, which is the next-door neighbor, and she asked Patrick to come over and go swimming. He comes over. At the time, I didn't know this. At the time,
At the time, the defendant's granddaughter was there.
Yes.
At Patrick's house.
Yes.
Got it. So your daughter went over and invited Patrick to come and swim.
Right. And not
You had told her that she could have one friend in the pool, so Patrick left to come swimming, leaving your granddaughter alone.
Well, she had to go home.
She had to go home.
Yes.
She came home.
So just a second. Okay. That's what happened. Okay. You had a grandchild who had hurt feelings. I assume
She actually went over to go swimming. She thought she was invited too.
You had a child with hurt feelings.
And I went to ask what had happened.
Okay.
That's this big hoopla.
Okay. Now, your grandchild comes home. I assume she was upset. Was she crying?
Yes.
Okay. And that was about what time?
In the evening. I honestly can't remember.
Okay. And when she came home crying, tell me what you did.
Went out and, honey, what's wrong?
What did you do?
Are you okay?
Yes, and she told you what happened.
Said I went over to Jillian's. She invited us swimming. And when I got there, her dad said only one person could swim.
Okay.
So she came home.
Okay, and what did you do next?
That's not what happened.
I talked to her, calmed her down, and I went over and said, hey.
Just a second. You walked from your house with, if you do that again, I'm just going to dismiss your case. Do you understand that? And it's easy.
I got it.
This isn't my case, it's your case.
I know.
So you walked alone to his house. Did you knock at the door? Did you go outside? I want you to tell me exactly what you did.
I don't remember if I went to the front door, if I went to where the pool is, and I do believe Mr. Martin was out there.
Okay, so Mr. Martin was out there, and you said it in that kind of a calm tone?
What happened to my granddaughter? Why is she crying?
Well, she told you why she was crying when she was home. She told you she was crying because she went over there to swim, and Mr. Martin said you can only have one person swim with you.
Which is totally out of character. The children swim together all the time.
You mean at Mr. Martin's pool?
At Mr. Martin's pool, and if they need another adult.
Just a second.
I go.
So they swim all the time in Mr. Martin's pool, so you wanted to know what happened on this occasion when he said only one person can swim.
Yes.
And you said it in just the same kind of conversational tone that I'm talking in, is my question.
I was very calm at the beginning, yes.
Oh, okay. And so you said to him what happened, and what did he say to you?
I don't remember exactly. It was to the effect of his son was going to watch them, and he could only have one child in the pool.
Right, that he wanted his son to have responsibility of only watching one other child other than his sister.
Correct.
Right, well, that sounds reasonable.
And that's fine.
Just a second. So how did it escalate? He said, I only wanted one child in here. My son's going to watch the kids. We have to go back to work. And that should have been it. Why wasn't it?
I don't know.
So I walked back out and looked at the Pathfinder, and that's what I discovered, the scratch across the back. It's bright white, so that indicates it's fresh. I told her while she was standing there, you're going to jail. I'm going to call the police.
Okay.
Zachary Martin claims his neighbor, Nancy Morrell, keyed his car and owes for the repairs. Nancy is countersuing for a false arrest and lawyer fees.
Now let's get to your version of what happened. Okay, so you said only one child. Her granddaughter went home. Just a second.
She did not come to my house.
Just a second.
She did not come to my house.
If you say again it's a lie, I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I asked you what happened.
She did not come to my house.
Okay.
Her daughter came to my house.
Just a second. You mean her granddaughter's mother?
Yes. I never talked to her.
Before my daughter went over, I had gone over.
She didn't.
Oh, no, just a second.
Yeah. Now I don't believe you, Miss Morell. Now I don't believe you, madam. I watched your eyes. I just watched it. Now uncross your arms. So, her daughter came over first.
No,
Yes.
I
Well,
went
she
over.
never-
I don't want to hear you.
She never came over. The daughter came over. She bypassed my front door and went to the side gate where the pool is. She told my son to go get me.
To go get you?
To go get me. I came out and she called me a jerk. You should let her swim in the pool. Blah. I just told my daughter, look, you can have one friend because your brother's watching you. It's not fair for him now to watch 3 kids. Just 2, that's all. I told her, I said, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I said she could have one friend and that's it. She proceeded to call me a jerk. She said some other choice words I'm not going to repeat, in which case I did cuss her out and told her to get off my property and not to come back again, anybody in her family, or I would file trespass charges.
Okay, and that was on the Sunday before Labor Day.
Yes, ma'am.
And when did this incident happen with your car?
January 22nd.
After that incident on Labor Day weekend, did you have any other contact with the defendant?
Yes.
When?
So I think it was right after Jillian's birthday on November the 21st. I think it was like a week, like December the 1st, I think. And this is really sick, but it got to the situation where she would watch my kid. And every time my kid would go to Aubrey's house or Patrick's house, she would take toys, she would unpack her stuff. And I told her, I said, look, you can't play with her. So they would wait 10 or 15 minutes till she got unpacked and get all comfortable, having a good time. She would send her granddaughter over there. She had to pack her stuff up and come home. She would come home crying many times. So then it got to the point where Patrick, he would come over to our house. He'd be over to our house all the time. They would get on trampoline. She knocks on the door and she says, can we play? And I said, no, you can't play. Get off of my property. File trespass charges if you come back. That was, the last time I interacted with her. Until she keep the video.
Well, it's not my job to be judgmental in a social way, but I have to tell you, I would have handled it a little differently with her. She wasn't the one who behaved badly. I wouldn't visit her daughter's bad behavior on an 8-year-old. There are kids who live right around the corner from each other, and it seems to me that the bad behavior of a parent or a grandparent shouldn't impact on a child. The granddaughter is a nice little girl.
Well, if you say so.
Is she?
Well, she spread rumors about my daughter and said that, she told Aubrey that my daughter stole some of her toys, and that was a lie.
Okay. All right. Well, it sort of started to get nasty. Now let's get back to the keying of the car. So that happened in January. So tell me about the January incident.
Okay, so she got up January 22nd. It's a Saturday. She decided to walk her dog. She's walked her dog.
Go over there. Show me what you saw.
Okay. So she decided to walk her dog, and so she walks up the sidewalk.
Well, you didn't see that.
No, not right here.
No, you didn't see that.
When she gets about right here, which is Patrick's house, the mailbox is right here, you can see in the video. That's when the cameras detect motion. That's when I get the alert. So I see her walking the dog, and she's walked her dog past my house many times, but never gotten that close to my vehicle. So immediately I thought something.
Where was your car?
My car is parked right here.
In the driveway?
Yes, ma'am. So she walks the dogs, and she is right beside the view. You can see in the video, you can see her right hand go up. So I immediately run out of the house. I have a truck parked right here. I looked at my truck. I thought maybe she did something to the truck. I looked at it, didn't see anything. I went back outside and I said, well, wait a minute, let me go back outside and look at the Pathfinder. So I walked back out and looked at the Pathfinder, and that's what I discovered, the scratch across the back. It's bright white, so that indicates it's fresh. I told her while she was standing there, you're going to jail, I'm gonna call the police.
Okay, step back. When you said to her, you're going to jail, I'm going to call the police, did she respond?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, now I'd like to see the video.
Okay. You can see as her hand goes up right there.
I'll take a look at it again. Is there any reason that you stopped behind his car? Is there any reason?
Stopped to sniff, I stopped with him.
You see her right hand right there.
I'm moving my arm as I walk.
Yes, and that's where the scratch is.
Okay, can I take a look at the photographs of the scratch, please? Okay, so based upon what you saw, you called the police. And based upon that, the police came, interviewed you, and viewed this tape.
Actually, I had contacted the police after he had yelled at me. He's a little incorrect. Could I show you where?
Sure.
I did walk my dog around here. His cars impede the sidewalk, so I moved. And I had completed my whole route over to about here, and he did indeed come out and yell at me. I caught a few words of it, said I'm walking my dog, waved my arms, and continued on. That's not the first time he has yelled at me as I've been walking, and I went home and I filed an incident report, and I do have that.
Just a second.
The second time I've been walking and he's come out and yelled at me, it's very unnerving.
That's a lie.
We're very far.
Sorry.
It's going to cost you getting your car fixed. It's something you don't understand.
I have it.
Something you don't understand. I'm allowing both of you to tell me your sides of the story. You can't say that's a lie. Do you understand?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not cutting you off. I let you tell me your story, sir. I let you tell me what happened, and I want to give the defendant the same opportunity. You can't interrupt her. Now you fuffle with him, which you had, because he said you and your granddaughter, which I actually think was socially wrong with regard to your granddaughter. But with regard to you, he doesn't want you there, right? I wouldn't walk up a cul-de-sac to go past his house. If it were me, I see plenty of space where you can walk. You can cross the street from your house and walk in the street the other way. And then when you come back, you can walk the other way. You don't have to go inside that cul-de-sac to walk anywhere near his house. That's looking for trouble.
Can I just say something?
About what?
The trend that another gentleman, he tried to accuse of trashing his car.
Are you her husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to let you stand up now, and you're going to show me where he accused somebody else of keying his car in the back in January. Show me.
Zachary Martin is accusing his neighbor, Nancy Morrell, of keying his car. Nancy is countersuing for a false arrest and lawyer fees.
So you have a counterclaim, and your counterclaim is for false arrest. He didn't arrest you. The police arrested you. And the police arrested you based upon what they believed, after looking at that video, was probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause to believe you participated in the commission of that crime, which is vandalism. He didn't make a citizen's arrest. The police made an arrest. And not only did they make an arrest, but they were serious enough to have you get a lawyer. Your counsel went in. I assume your new counsel asked for an adjournment. I assume your new counsel, you were there.
I believe so. I was not there, ma'am. I waited out in the hall, and my lawyer represented me.
Fine. So I assume that you knew that your lawyer was going to ask for an adjournment. The lawyer didn't prepare you for trial, did he?
No.
No.
Your Honor.
So he was. I'm not listening to you.
As a witness, can I just say something?
About what?
The trend that another gentleman, he tried to accuse of trashing his car. We have evidence of that.
Just a second. That I'll listen to in a minute.
Okay.
The second time your case was on, did you go into court or did you wait outside?
I waited outside.
Then if you waited outside, you knew again your lawyer was going to ask for. She was not there.
She was outside, yes, ma'am.
The second time when the case was adjourned, were you in court?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she there?
Yes, ma'am.
Outside or inside?
She was outside.
Did her lawyer ask for an adjournment?
Continuance.
A continuance?
Yes, ma'am.
Same thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did it happen more than twice?
Yes.
On the third time you went to court, did you go to court?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she in court?
Yes, ma'am.
Inside or outside?
She was outside, and what happened, I had sold the house, and we moved an hour away.
Just a second. You were there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I'm going to let you stand up now, and you're going to show me where he accused somebody else of keying his car in the back in January. Show me. No. Well, this says that on January 18th, which was 4 days before this incident, you reported another vandalism to a Nissan Titan.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the car that you saw her key or believe she keyed?
No, ma'am, that's a different vehicle.
That's what I thought. That's a different vehicle. That has nothing to do with this car.
Well, the gentleman that he accused of, he didn't even have arrested or didn't want to press charges.
Just a second. Okay, so now I'm going to let you stand up, and I'm going to give you my end of the riot act, because if this is what you're deluding yourself with, I'm going to tell you. He didn't have video of anybody on the 18th around his car. In your wife's case, sir, He had prior experience with her. She had no business walking right in front of the house when there are plenty of other places to walk. If they are not on great terms, he had every right to call the police, show them the video, and they had every right to arrest her. Trial is for, sir. That was up to a jury. What your wife is suing him for is for false arrest. He didn't arrest her. The police arrested her. Now sit. May I see the invoice? Have you had the car fixed?
Yes, ma'am. I have an estimate, and I also have the police report.
I'd like to see both. I'd like to see both. So the police officer indicated that after you were told about what the officer saw on the video, you've decided to make no more statements about the incident, and you were placed under arrest for malicious damage. The officer also reported that the scratch on the back of the car was fresh because there were fresh paint chips on the street that were red paint chips. There's a red car that came off that car, which demonstrates to the eyes of any layperson that since there's traffic back and forth there, if there are fresh scratches and fresh paint, it means it just happened. So your counterclaim for false arrest and anything addended thereto is dismissed.
I did not do it, Your Honor.
Right, well, okay. Maybe the case was dismissed. That doesn't mean you're entitled to money from him. Police had probable cause to believe that a crime was committed and probable cause to believe that you committed that crime. The rest of it is up to a jury. So you have a beef with the police department, not with him. They had an absolute right to arrest you. I'm not giving you $2,500 for this scratch, sir. Get it out of your mind. Do you understand?
Why not?
It's not a $2,500 scratch.